Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Yankees Radio Network. I'm Mike Kenichi, and we are at Game 5 at Shea Stadium of the 2000 World Series. It is Game 5 between the defending world champion New York Yankees and the National League champion New York Mets. The Yankees have a 3-1 lead in the series, and the Mets are going to hope to come out tonight and force a Game 6 back at Yankee Stadium. Pitching for the Yankees will be Andy Pettitte, who in Game 1 gave up 3 runs in 6 2/3 innings. And pitching for the Mets is Al Leiter, who gave up 2 runs in 7 innings. And it should be just a tremendous pitching matchup tonight. Last night it was all about Derek Jeter when you think about it. The first pitch off Bobby Jones, and he put it in the left field seats. He would also get an RBI later in the game. The Yankees won the game 3-2. Denny Nagel went 4 2/3, and David Cone pitched a third of an inning, and then the rest was Jeff Nelson, Mike Stanton, and Mariano Rivera, and Rivera looked sharp last night. The Mets, on the other hand, they haven't really gotten the bats going too much. Piazza's had a pretty good series. Benny Agbayani's had a good series. Todd Zeile has been the best for the Mets. He's hitting well over 400 in this World Series, and he probably came close to hitting a home run 3 different times, just fell short each time, which is just crazy. We all remember in Game 1 where the ball just hit the top of the wall. But Algardo Alfonso, who was so good in the National League Divisional Series against the Giants and then the National League Championship Series against the Cardinals, has really not had a good World Series at all. He can't seem to get it going. However, it has not impacted his defense. He has just been tremendous defensively. He saved a couple runs. I wonder, Piazza hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning last night, and that was all the offense the Mets would get the rest of the way. The Yankees' bullpen has been tremendous. I mean, Nelson, Stanton, Rivera, the 3 of those guys have just been outstanding. They really have, and that's really been the key to the Yankees. And, of course, like I said, David Cone, he pitched to one batter, and that was Mike Piazza, and he got him to pop out to second base. But we're going to see how the Yankees respond tonight, and we're also going to see if the Mets could force this into a Game 6, which, if that happens, I mean, I know I can't speak for him, but I know Joe Torre does not want to go to Saturday night at Yankee Stadium. Roger Clemens would be pitching, and all Torre would hear about the next 2 days is how's this going to affect Clemens. And one thing we learned about Roger Clemens, when he gets a little too amped up, he doesn't pitch his best, and he'll be very emotional going into that Game 6 after what occurred in Game 2 with the incident with the broken bat. But right now we got a Game 5 to play, and it's do or die for the Mets. It really is, as we know. They win, they play Saturday night. They lose, they go home for the year. The starting lineups for the Yankees: second base will be Jose Vizcaino. Shortstop will be Derek Jeter. Left field will be Dave Justice. Center field will be Bernie Williams. Right field will be Paul O'Neill. First base will be Tino Martinez. Catching will be Jorge Posada. Scott Brocious will play third base. And, of course, Andy Pettitte is on the mound for the Bronx Bombers, as there is no DH in the National League ballpark. And, of course, the veteran Al Leiter, a 3-time world champion himself, 2 with the Toronto Blue Jays and 1 with the Florida Marlins. Very clutch postseason pitcher, always rises to the occasion, and I wouldn't expect anything less tonight. I think this is going to be a real good pitching matchup tonight. However, as I mentioned earlier, I think the Mets, it's essential for the Mets that they got to try to score early against the Yankees, because you keep missing opportunities. A team like the Yankees, who have won 3 out of the last 4 World Series, you have to play almost a perfect game against them, so you cannot lose out on those opportunities. You have to take advantage of them. So we'll see what happens. But, right now, I mean, Leiter, I have a lot of faith that he's going to pitch well. He always does rise to the occasion. And funny moment before the teams went out to the field. John Stearns came out to do the starting lineups with the umpires, Chris Chambliss with the Yankees. And he jokingly said, "So we'll see you all Saturday night." And everybody got a nice chuckle out of it. And at the end of the day, it's a competitive sport. These teams want to beat each other, but you never take it personal. It's baseball, and these are human beings. So it was nice to see that friendly moment. And the game one hero is leading off for the Yankees, and that, of course, is Jose Vizcaino. And he's kind of slowed down since that first game when he had 4 hits. He hasn't had a hit since. But again, I mean, it was a big hit, one that if the Yankees win this World Series, they'll remember forever. The ball is inside and 1-0 to Vizcaino. Jose, of course, came in a trade back in June when the Yankees dealt World Series hero Jim Leyritz to the Dodgers, and Vizcaino came there, and he's been a great help with Chuck Knobloch having his problems. A ground ball to second, and Alfonso fields it, throws to first, 1 away. So good start for Al Leiter, retires Vizcaino, and now that'll bring up the hero of Game 4, Derek Jeter. I'll tell you, in 5 years thus far, Jeter has just been phenomenal for the Yankees. He really has. I mean, if they win tonight, that would be 4 world championships in 5 years. It doesn't get any better than that. And they just showed his home run from last night, and he took advantage. Bobby Jones threw him a fastball right down the pipe. It wasn't overly powering, and he just sent it into the left field seats. And Leiter's pitch inside for a ball. Bobby Jones really didn't pitch that bad last night. I mean, he settled down nicely after the first 3 innings, but he did give up a run in each of the first 3 innings, but then was able to settle down afterwards. The pitch to Jeter is a strike, and the count is 1-1. One thing about Leiter, he's going to give you a bag of tricks. He could throw you so many off-speed pitches. That's why he's so good and he's so hard to hit against. The 1-1 pitch, and that's high for a ball, 2-1. Big crowd tonight. I'd say, though, like, based on what I heard, it's almost 50-50. There are a lot of Yankee fans in this building tonight, which is surprising. I knew there'd be Yankee fans, but it looks like it's 50-50. Pop-up out of play, and the count is 2-2. Jeter, as I mentioned, what a start to his career. I mean, sometimes Roger Clemens, it took him 16 years to win his first championship, and Jeter, it took him his first season, and he wins tonight. Like I said, that would be 4 out of 5. So what a start for this outstanding shortstop for the New York Yankees. The 2-2 pitch is on the way, and he swings and misses. Leiter got him on a sinker, and 2 away. Great pitch by Leiter. Had Jeter totally off balance on that pitch. And that's going to bring up Dave Justice, the ALCS MVP. And, you talk about a lot of deals Brian Cashman made. None were better than bringing David Justice here in the deal that sent Ricky Leday and I believe Jake Westbrook to Cleveland. And Justice, listen, the average doesn't look great, 203, but he's got 3 home runs and 12 RBIs in this postseason, and he's been clutch in so many games throughout this postseason. The pitch from Leiter is low, 1-0. Justice, I'll tell you, he has had a very good career, and it's hard to believe he's only in his 11th season and really his 10th because he missed all of 1996, but just a tremendous, tremendous player. And like I said, that was a great move by Cashman, foul ball off his leg, 1-1. Just unbelievable when you think about what David Justice has done in these 10 years. Of course, he hit the big home run in Game 6 to give Atlanta the World Series title. It was the only run they would score. Tom Glavine was tremendous in that game, but he hit the winning home run. And then, of course, the home run he hit at Yankee Stadium in Game 6 against Seattle off Arthur Rose was out. Just that place went crazy. 2-1 to Justice. One thing about Leiter, he will, at times throw a lot of balls, but he always works himself out of these jams. He really does. He is a gamer. The guy brings it every time he comes out there. Of course, Leiter and the pitch to Justice, and it's outside 3-1. Leiter, of course, started his career with the Yankees in 1987. There was a lot of promise, and then in 1989, he was dealt to the Toronto Blue Jays for Jesse Barfield, and not one of the better trades that the Yankees made in the Steinbrenner era. The 3-1 pitch, that's in there for a strike, 3-2. Everything that has surrounded this World Series, the stuff with Clemens, Piazza, with all of that going on, both teams have played very competitively throughout these 5 games. I mean, they've all been close. I know the Yankees are up 3-1, but it's been a very good World Series. And the pitch grounded to the first baseman, Zio, and the Yankees go in order 1-2-3. So a good start for Al Leiter. After a half inning, no score, Game 5 of the 2000 World Series. And, you know, folks, you have to believe that the Mets, like I said, they're going to bring it tonight. I mean, I don't expect the Mets to just lie down. I really don't. They've played loose the entire time. And, of course, let's bring you the starting lineups for the Mets. Benny Agbayani is in left field. Algardo Alfonso is at second base. Catching is Mike Piazza. Todd Zio, who's been red hot, is at first base. Robin Ventura is at third. Bubba Trammell is in right field. Jay Payton is in center field. Kurt Abbott at shortstop. And, of course, Al Leiter is on the mound for the Mets. Strike one to Benny Agbayani. And it's funny, Andy Pettitte, about a year and a half ago, was close to becoming a Philadelphia Philly. George Steinbrenner was about to trade him. It was Joe Torre and Mel Stoudemire who kind of talked him out of it. And Pettitte has just been tremendous ever since that pressure has been off of being traded. 19 wins this past year for the Bombers, and he continues to do what he does. In a ground ball to Brocious, he throws one away, and good start for Andy Pettitte. One thing about the Yankees is they haven't hit a lot of home runs in this series. Brocious has a home run. Obviously, I mentioned Jeter, but that's really been it for the Yankees. I mean, they have not hit any home runs other than those 2 guys. But with that said, they know how to manufacture runs. They do the little things to win ball games, and that's why they've been so successful these last 5 years. I mean, just a tremendous, tremendous organization. And the pitch to Alfonso is high, 1-0. Alfonso, like I mentioned in the pregame, he's had a great postseason. He just has not had a good World Series. But 1 home run and 10 RBIs in this postseason, he's done very well and swung on and missed. 1-1 to Fonzie. Pettitte, if you noticed the last year or so, he has really put a lot more speed on his fastball. I think the conditioning that he does with Clemens, they've been working out together. It's really helped him a lot as far as being more of a power pitcher. And the count is 1-2. Fonzie swings and misses. And, you know, I mentioned Leiter being a gamer. Pettitte is too. I mean, we can never forget, after being rocked in Game 1 of the 1996 World Series, he came back at Fulton County Stadium, the final game there, and outpitched John Smoltz for a 1-0 Yankees victory. And the pitch, and did that hit Alfonso? No. Nearly hit him, so the count is 2-2. And, of course, the Yankees would go on to win that World Series. But that Game 5 was something special, and Pettitte was just outstanding. And then, you know, look at last year. He had some struggles 2 years ago in 98, and yet in the clincher against the Padres, he threw a 7-inning shutout. The ball is low. Count is 3-2. And the Mets need to get runners on. I mean, you want somebody on and give Piazza an opportunity to maybe give the Mets an early lead. Full count to Alfonso. Pettitte rears back, he throws, and that's a ground ball to Brocious. Again, he makes a beautiful play. It took a real high hop, but Brocious was able to make the play and get it to Martinez for the second out. And, of course, that'll bring up the best hitting catcher in the game, and probably of all time when we write the history books. he will probably go down as the best. And that's, of course, number 31, Mike Piazza. And before the game, Piazza was kind of doing a little air guitar, having some fun. One thing about this Mets team, they play very loose. They don't seem to get phased by much. And they may not win the series, but one thing I know, they're not intimidated at all. This team has really been unified all year. And that's a credit to Bobby Valentine. You really got to give him credit for the job he's done. And Pettit steps back, he throws, and Piazza follows it off into the stands by right field, count 0-1. The one he hit off Nagel last night, I mean, I'm still impressed he hit it. It was a low sinker that he just kind of powered into the left field stands. And you felt like the Mets were going to really have the momentum at that point. But again, Nagel pitched well. I felt bad that he kind of had to come out and not qualify for the victory because he did pitch well. And there you see Smoking Joe Frazier in the stands right there. Not sure who his team is. It could be neither. He could just be enjoying the game, but boxing legend right there. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. It was a high fastball by Pettit, and Piazza was unable to connect on it. And Pettit's ahead in the count, and that makes him even that more dangerous because you don't know what he can throw to you. But it's it. You know, the Mets, you don't want to go 3 up, 3 down here because you've got a ground ball, and that's going to go through for a base hit. And Piazza continues to hit well. Great piece of hitting by Piazza. He pretty much almost check swung, but it went through the middle, and that's how powerful he is. That guy is so hard to get out. I mean, that's what makes the Mets dangerous, and that's why they're never out of any game, because when you have a bat like that in that lineup, you eventually have to see him. And when you do, and that's now his 10th straight hit in the postseason. So not only is he a great regular season player, he's proven what a great postseason player is. And speaking of great postseasons, here comes the best for the Mets in this World Series, and that, of course, is first baseman Todd Zeile. It's funny, and pitches right down the pipe for a strike. Zeile was on, I believe he was on the Baltimore team in 96 that the Yankees beat. He was on the Texas team in 98 and 99 that they beat. So he's had a lot of losses to the Yankees in the playoffs. So I know he would love to get some redemption here. And he's had a great World Series, like I said. I mean, I thought that ball was a home run he hit in Game 1. We saw the replays. It was a great call by the umpire, but he has just hit phenomenally. Clemens had a 2-hitter in Game 2, and Zeile got both hits. The 1-1 pitch from Pettit, and that's right down the pipe. Oh, he called it a ball. Looked like it was in there for a strike, but I guess it was a little outside. Count is 2-1. On deck is third baseman Robin Ventura. And Zeile's had a nice career. You know, he started out, I believe, as a catcher. Then he was a third baseman. Now he's a first baseman. He could play a lot of positions, and I know when Joe Torre was his manager with the Cardinals, he loved Todd Zeile. He really did. And Pettit gets behind in the count now, and it's 3-1. And this is a big pitch right here because Pettit has to throw a strike. So I expect that, Zeile will be swinging here. I don't think he'll take a pitch. If it's good, he's going to swing at it. Piazza doesn't have a lot of speed, so the Yankees don't worry about him too much in the 3-1 pitch. And a ground ball, and that's going to go to Jeter. He'll step on the bag, and the Mets are retired here in the first inning. After 1 inning of play, no score here in Flushing. Williams, Martinez, and O'Neill coming to bat for the Yankees. You know, one thing about Bernie Williams that we know, he's been a tremendous player for the Yankees. He's the reason, when you get right down to it, how the Yankees turned it around. It started when he came up in 91. By 93, they started to win again, had a winning season. And he has just been an outstanding postseason player for the Yankees. With that said, though, if there is one knock on him, and I don't even say it's a knock, it's more a negative, is he has not hit well in the World Series. He has like a career 115 batting average in the World Series. he's had some big hits in certain spots in the World Series. I could think of Game 3 against Atlanta when the Yankees were holding a 2-1 lead, and he hit a 2-run homer to make it 4-1, which was huge. He's had some big hits against the Braves, against the Padres, but he's just not had the big breakout World Series. And right now, he is in as big a slump as he's ever been. He is 0 for 16 in this World Series right now, and he is trying anything to get a hit. And Leiter's pitch, and it's grounded foul past the third baseman Ventura, 0-1. But he has not had a hit yet in this World Series, and you just don't. And he hasn't had a hit in his last 22 World Series at bats, which is just amazing. Because again, when I tell you this guy is as good as any player in the game, I mean, he has been everything to this Yankee franchise, and he has as much to do with this success as anybody does, and pitches outside for a ball 1-1. So he's just struggled a little bit, and he does have a lot more power, it seems like these days, on the right side. So we'll see what happens, and it's outside for a 2-1 pitch. Leiter, like I said, I mean, he can get behind in the count, but it doesn't faze him. Now, both teams, I think, want to get to an early lead. You want to put the pressure on the opposing pitcher as much as you can, and you want to make the other team work in a 2-1 pitch, and it's outside 3-1. So this is a big pitch for Leiter here. You don't want to walk the leadoff batter, especially when you got Tino Martinez on deck, who's had a great World Series. You have to get Bernie Williams here. You do not want to walk him. So big pitch for Leiter, and he rears back, and the 3-1 pitch foul, and again goes by Todd Zeile or Robin Ventura for a foul on the third baseline. So 3-2 count. But I think it's important for the Mets more so than the Yankees to grab that lead early. So we'll see what they do. There you have a young fan right there. He's telling you what team he likes. Of course, it's obviously the Yankees with the sign right there. And Leiter sets back, and he shakes off Piazza, and he rears back. The 3-2 pitch to Williams, and fouled to the first base side. So Williams hasn't had any good swings yet, but he's battling, and he's still ahead in the count, 3-2. And like I said, you don't want to walk Bernie here, because this is where the big bats start coming up. And the Mets, they need to have this lead first tonight, in my opinion. So big pitch right here to Bernie Williams, and the 3-2 pitch fouled again. Good at bat for Bernie. And that's the thing too about Bernie Williams. He may not be hitting, but it's not because the pressure's getting to him, or the spotlight is too big. He's just struggling right now. And listen, the Mets have great pitching. You got to give them some credit, because they do have a great pitching staff. The 3-2 pitch, and swung on and drilled deep to left field. Back is Agbayani, and it is gone. And Bernie Williams breaks through, and the Yankees jump off to a 1-0 lead. Great at bat for Williams, and he gets his first hit of the World Series, and it was a big one. And it was a inside pitch that Bernie got a hold of, and he gets his first hit of the World Series, a home run, and the Yankees take an early 1-0 lead. But great at bat for Bernie, and he needed that. Boy, did he ever. So great at bat for Bernie. We'll look on the replay. We'll see what exactly happened here. Did Leiter, did he kind of lose him on a pitch? I don't know what happened. And the pitch to Martinez is outside for a ball. So we'll look at the replay again. And yeah, I mean, it's simply an inside pitch, and Bernie was able to get a hold of it. Wasn't a bad pitch by Leiter. Bernie just was able to connect. And that's one thing, like I said, Bernie's not going to choke. If he's not playing well, he's just in a slump. But eventually, you knew he was going to have a moment, and that was one right there. And a fly ball to left field by Martinez. Agbayani's under it, and he makes the catch, one away. Mentioned earlier, Tino's had a great series. He's hitting 395 in this World Series right now, so he's been outstanding, especially games 1 and 2. He was tremendous. Really helped the Yankees win. You look at the pitch sequence. Leiter was trying to jam him in, and that last pitch, Bernie was just able to get a hold of it, and Leiter knew it too. I mean, and you look at the Yankee bench, they knew it as well. And that's the thing with Bernie, you knew he was eventually going to, like I said, break through, and he did it in a big way. And Paul O'Neill is now back. Oh, and it almost hits O'Neill. He has to duck out of the way right there, and 1-0 pitch. O'Neill has had a tremendous World Series, tremendous postseason, but really a great World Series. He had 2 triples last night in the game. Those who say Paul O'Neill is near the end of his career, he's proven in this postseason that there's still plenty of left in number 21. The pitch from Leiter, and it's inside, and the count is 2-0. Right now, if the Yankees were to win this World Series, I would say 3 guys would be in line to win the MVP. O'Neill, Martinez, and Jeter. And you can make an argument for Clemens, even though Clemens, what he did in game 2 with the bat was unfortunate and swung on and missed. O'Neill, he's kind of mad at himself, felt like he should have hit that 2-1 from Leiter. But, Clemens pitched 8 innings, a 2-hit ball. He struck out 9. He was magnificent. But I think for him to win MVP, he'd have to pitch another game. So if the Yankees were to win tonight, it should be interesting to see who they would give the MVP to. The 2-1 pitch is fouled way back into the left field seats. Count is 2-2. But, I think for a guy like O'Neill and Tino as well. Tino had a rough regular season, only hit 16 home runs. For the first time, he didn't drive in 100 runs as a Yankee. So these guys have really redeemed themselves in these playoffs, and especially in the World Series. Both guys have been tremendous. The 2-2 pitch from Leiter is on the way to O'Neill, and it's low. Oh, tough pitch to take. Called it a ball, but it easily could have been called a strike. So we're at 3-2 for O'Neill. There you see Dave Wallace, the pitching coach right there for the Mets. Tremendous pitching coach. He's been around in the game for a long time, and Bobby Valentine really leans on him a lot. He's just a tremendous pitching coach. The 3-2 from Leiter, and swung on and missed. He strikes O'Neill out. Foul tipped it into Piazza's glove for the second out. O'Neill is funny, I'll tell you. He could be having a great World Series, but he's always mad at himself. And 2 away right there. And great job by Leiter to come back and get the next 2 outs. I don't even say he made a mistake to Bernie Williams, because Bernie just hit it. What could you do? You tip your cap to Bernie more than anything else. And here's the catcher, Jorge Posada. Now, Posada has had a rough postseason. He's hitting 196 with only 6 RBIs. One thing about Posada, though, he can come out of it at any time, just like Bernie. And tremendous season for the Yankees as the full-time catcher for the first time in his career. Last few years, he split time with Joe Girardi, but it's pretty much been him, and that's fouled off to the third base side, 1-1. But, I look back, I would say Posada is probably the best. Now, Mike Stanley had a few good years as well, so I could put him in there. But with the exception of Mike Stanley, I would say Posada has been their best hitting catcher since Thurman Munson. I know Rick Cerrone had a real good year one year in 1981, maybe, or 1980. But for the most part, it was pretty much Munson, and grounded to Fonzie at second base. He throws to Zeal, and that retires the side. So after an inning and a half, it is 1-0 Yankees on a home run from number 51. The Mets are coming to bat, and the Yankees have a early 1-0 lead in Game 5 of the World Series. Nothing better than when crosstown rivals play each other, especially in a World Series. I mean, the city has just been hopping for the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's been something special. When both teams are in the playoffs, I mean, think about it. The newspapers, the talk radio, I mean, it's electrifying. And Robin Ventura, the third baseman, leads off for the Mets. He takes one high and outside for 1-0 by Pettit. Ventura hasn't had a great postseason. He does have a couple of home runs. He has 8 RBIs, and he did hit a home run to give the Mets a 1-0 lead in Game 3 the other night, and that's high for a 2-0 pitch. But he has struggled, and one of the things that they've talked about this year with him is that maybe he's lost a little bat speed. I don't know how much I believe that. He's still a very good player, and that's inside for a strike. Count was 2-1. But outstanding third baseman. He's won Gold Gloves, I think, 3 or 4 times already. Just a tremendous, tremendous baseball player. 2-1 from Pettit, and it's fouled off, 2-2. When you look at the Mets, their pitching staff of Leiter, Hampton, Rick Reed, Bobby Jones, even Glendon Rush has done a great job coming out of the bullpen. He could start for you. If you could keep Hampton, the future is really bright for this Mets team. And the 2-2 to Ventura is low for a ball, and it is 3-2. One thing about Pettit, I mentioned later, Pettit will fall behind in counts, but he could always pitch out of it. And, he puts a runner on base. He has that great pickoff move, so that could be erased quickly, fouled off again by Ventura. We'll do it again at 3-2, but just a tremendous move by Pettit to first base. He has picked off he picked off Piazza in Game 1. He picked off Zio in Game 1. I mean, he is just so dangerous with that pickoff move. It's one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. And we'll do it again. Pettit sets. And he steps off the mound for a minute. While he sets off the mound for a minute, we do want to send our condolences to Brian Cashman and his wife, Mary. Mary's mother passed away earlier today, so Brian is not at the game. So we do want to pass along our condolences to the general manager of the New York Yankees, who in his third year as GM, the Yankees have an opportunity to win their third championship in a row. And as I mentioned earlier, just an outstanding GM, and made the big move of getting David Justice. And even though at the time we didn't think much of it, getting Vizcaino was big for him as well. So we send our condolences to Brian, to Mary, the entire Cashman family, and, we're thinking of them. Pettit is set, the pitch, and did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3. Beautiful pitch by Pettit. Ventura doesn't think so, but the ump called it a strike. It looked like Ventura checks, it looked like he checked his swing. I'll have to see a replay, but the pitch was, pretty borderline down the pipe. So I'm not sure if it was called a strike or the ump said he swung, but they haven't showed us a replay yet. I'm looking at Joe Torre right now, and I'll tell you, the guy never changes his expression. He always seems calm. I mean, that's why he's been so successful as a manager for the Yankees. And the pitch to Trammell was a ball, 1-0. Bubba is hitting 200 on the postseason with 3 RBIs. The 1-0 pitch is outside, 2-0. Again, the Mets have to get something going here. And truthfully, you want to try to score this inning because you can't, and that's low for 3-0. So now if I'm Trammell, I take 2 pitches here. That's what I would do, because you have to somehow get something started for this Mets team. And Pettit and the 3-0 is right down the pipe. But they just showed a stat how Pettit is 26-12 in the regular season since the trade deadline in 1999, when they almost sent him to Philadelphia. So really, he has been a different pitcher with that pressure being off him. And that's low for ball 4 and a 1-out walk for the Mets. Trammell gets on, and that's huge. It really is huge. And that's going to bring up Jay Payton, who has a couple home runs in the season, including a Game 2 home run off Mariano Rivera that cut the Mets lead to 1 run. The Yankees lead to 1 run. The Yankees went into that ninth with a 6-0 lead. Piazza hit a 2-run homer off Nelson, and then Jay Payton hit a 3-run homer off Rivera, and then of course Rivera was able to get Kurt Abbott on 3 straight pitches to end the game, and that's inside for a ball. But that was a big home run at the time because, put some pressure on the Yankees, which they hadn't really had any that entire game. Payton is an outstanding fielder as well. Great arm in right and center field, whichever one he plays, and that's low. He could play both. He could play left field as well. Not a bad player at all, and it's 2-0 right now on Payton. Now, this is the thing, if you're the Mets, I would take another pitch here. You want to try to make Pettit work. Try to put a lot of pitches on him early. I mean, try to get to that Yankee bullpen, though. That Yankee bullpen's been so good. I don't know if that's good, and Pettit throws over to first. But you have to do something in order to, change the momentum of this series, which right now, all the momentum is on the Yankees side in this series. When you're up 3-1 and you're going to go back to your ballpark no matter what for games 6 and 7, it gives you a great advantage. And that's inside for a strike, and it's 2-1 on Jay. Like I said, Payton has been great for the Mets this year. He's just done an outstanding job, and he's played all over the place for the Mets. And, of course, Kurt Abbott is on the on-deck circle, the 2-1 pitch, and, sinker that Payton chased, and it's 2-2. Great pitch by Pettit. Totally had Payton fooled here, and just a beautiful pitch. When Pettit could throw that sinking slider, it makes him that much tougher. That's the thing, too, about not being a total power pitcher is he could throw you a ton of pitches. He could pitch a lot of innings. He could throw a lot of pitches, and the 2-2 to Payton is low. Good play by Posada. That almost got away from him, but he was able to stop it, and full count to Payton. And this is big here, and you probably at this point want to send a runner. I would send Trammell. Like I said, Mets have got to do something here. They got to try to get the run back. And the 3-2 by Pettit, and Trammell does not run. It's fouled off by Payton into the right field side, out of play, and we'll do it again. Bubba Trammell has been a nice addition to the Mets as well. Had a decent regular season, and that's the thing with the Mets. They've had a lot of guys who have played every day, who play sometimes, and they've all stepped up for this team. They really have. So you got to give a lot of credit to Steve Phillips and the pieces he put together with this team. The 3-2 pitch, and it's grounded foul. We'll do it again. Payton's battling, and Pettit's not going to give in. He's going to go with what works for him, but he's not going to give in to this Mets team. Pettit's type of pitcher, he could throw you 130 pitches, so he's not going to get rattled by anything. If you're going to beat him, you're going to beat him because you earned it. And let's see if Trammell runs here. The 3-2 pitch, he does not. Pettit throws back to first. Very important, too, that if you're going to run, you make sure you don't get picked off here because, like I said, Pettit has that great move to first base, and you cannot ill afford to get picked off here. The 3-2 to Payton. Let's see if Trammell runs here. I don't believe he will. He doesn't, and it falls in for a hit. O'Neill was not able to catch it, so it dunks in for a hit, and the Mets now have 2 men on, 1 out, and great opportunity right here because the Mets really needed that. Let's face it. They have got, like I told you, they have got to do something, and that was a big hit right there for Jay Payton, who, like I said, has come up in big spots. And now Kurt Abbott will try to keep this inning going, but 2 on, nobody out. And you can see John Stearns, the Mets bench coach, he's fired up in there. He really is. 2 on, a great opportunity for the Mets, and Abbott at the plate to pitch from Pettit and fouled off. It was hit hard, but just foul of the third baseman, Scott Brocious. But great piece of hitting by Peyton. He went to the right side. He was able to get it to fall in. O'Neill didn't really have a chance at it. It was just a great piece of hitting by Jay Peyton. So one thing about the Mets, like I told you, they're not going to quit. The 0-1 from Pettit to Kurt Abbott, the pitch, and it's outside for a ball, 1-1. It was funny. Kurt Abbott, he's a switch hitter, as you know, but he was kind of arguing the strikeout pitch and in game 2 to end the game. But that pitch was right down the pipe. I don't know what he thought he saw, but it was very comical to see. In a ground ball hit to Jeter, he will go to first and 2 outs, and not a good at bat for Abbott, because now you got Al Leiter coming up to the plate, and Al Leiter does not hit good at all. So this is set up beautifully for the Yankees. The right play by Jeter, it was hit too soft for him to try to go to second. He went to first, which is the sure out, and there's 2 out. So now Al Leiter will come up to the plate, and the only thing I could say is for the Mets, at least they don't have Leiter leading off for the third, but he is not a very good hitter. He hit 052 this year, had no RBI, so just a great setup for the Yankees. And the pitch to Pettit to Leiter is low for a ball. And, listen, these guys, though, they hit year-round. So even if they're not going well, they at least have the experience of hitting, where if you're an American League pitcher, you don't get a lot of at-bats unless you play in the national ballpark during interleague play. The pitch to Leiter, and he throws down a bunt to the right side, and Tino, he kind of double hooks, and Pettit drops the ball, and that's going to score a run, and we are now tied. What a beautiful piece of bunting by Al Leiter. Nobody saw that coming, and the Mets have tied this game. They are right in this now, 1-1. Bubba Trammell scores. Great. That was a very gutsy play by Al Leiter. Nobody saw that coming. He just did a drag bunt. Tino made the play, but he double clutched. And when he threw it to Pettit, Pettit could not find the bag, and he could not find the ball, and that allowed the Mets to tie this game. So great piece of hitting by Leiter. He found a way to get on base. And, why not? I mean, you're not a good hitter, so you'll try something. What does it hurt? And tremendous job by the pitcher for the New York Mets to get on base. And now Benny Agbayani's up at the plate in a ground ball. The Brocious, it's going to be a tough play. And he bobbles the ball. And everybody is safe. Peyton scores, and the Mets take a 2-1 lead. Oh, man, you don't see that much from Scott Brocious. I thought the play was going to be tough to make, but he bobbled it, so we'll never know for sure. But he went to go pick it up, and it just went right through him. And now the Mets have a 2-1 lead. Great job by the Mets in this inning, manufacturing runs. I talk about this all the time. They did this, and just a great job. It was a slow roller, and Brocious, his only play was to try to pick it up, and it just went right by his hand. I mean, you don't see that a lot from Scott Brocious. He's a gold glove third baseman, but just a bad play. And I don't know if he would have got Agbayani, to be honest. Agbayani's not the fastest runner, but that ball was hit so slow, I don't think he would have got him. But the Mets, listen, their fans are juiced up right now. They have a 2-1 lead, and they should be very happy. And Alfonso up at the plate, and he is so due. If anybody is due, and that's outside 1-0. He's hitting 118 in this World Series with 1 RBI. So this is a moment for him. I mean, you got 2 guys on. The Mets have just scored 2 straight runs. This is where you could erase a lot of demons right here, and he did go around. He tried to check his swing. He couldn't do it. Great pitch by Pettit, and it's 1-1. Again, they're showing this on replay, and Brocious simply just missed the ball. I mean, a tough play. He just didn't make the play. What could you do? But Brosius type of guy though that can make up for it, and we've seen him do that over the years. Just a great clutch player, and that's inside for a ball 2-1. Like I said, if Fonzie could get a hit here and the Mets go up, now he's going to have to hit it in between the outfielders because I don't think Leiter could score from any of the spots you hit it because he's not fast enough. So he's going to have to really hit it in between the outfielders. But if he could get a hit and they could go up 3-1, boy, talk about a momentum changer. Oh, beautiful pitch by Pettit. Low sinker, and Fonzie totally missed it. Count is 2-2. Credit Bubba Trammell, Jay Payton, Al Leiter, and Agbayani. Just great at bats by the four of them in this inning to get the Mets this lead, and they desperately needed it. Just a great job by the Mets hitters in this inning. The 2-2 to Fonzie, and he pops it up. I think Vizcaíno has a play, and he makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. But the Mets come up with two big runs and take the lead in this game. And again, it all started with the drag bump by their pitcher, number 22, Al Leiter. And then, of course, Agbayani hit a slow roller and Brosius bobbled the ball. So after 2 innings of play, it's the New York Mets 2 and the New York Yankees 1. And you really have to credit the Mets for staying in this game. But, again, they've got to keep the momentum going. They're going to have to score some more because I don't think the Yankees are just going to score 1 run tonight. So they are going to have to score, some more. But great start. And, folks, there's nothing better than the game of baseball. And we talked about the Subway Series, and, the last one was 1956. Of course, Don Larson pitched the perfect game against the Brooklyn Dodgers. But we weren't around for those Dodger-Yankee World Series, but it's from everything you listen to. I mean, they were tremendous World Series. It was a big-time rival. And it makes you wonder if the Dodgers didn't move out of Brooklyn, would the Yankees and Red Sox have the rivalry they have? I mean, I don't think that's off base to kind of ask that question because from everybody you talk to, the Yankees and Dodgers back in the 40s and 50s, it was just as big a rivalry as any rivalry you've ever seen in sports. And we're going to start the top of the third, and Al Leiter now has a lead for the first time in this game, and we'll see what he does. I think it's important for Leiter to have a clean inning here. You don't want the Yankees you don't want to give the Yankees any glimmer of hope here because if they score here and knot this game up, I mean, you're just going to feel like no matter what you do, this team is just not going to go away. So this is a big third inning for Al Leiter and the Mets team in general. But great inning, like I said, great second inning by the Mets hitters. Really scrapped out 2 big runs by just playing small ball. And Brosius leads off the inning. He takes a pitch low, and the count is 1-0. Brosius, of course, was the 1998 World Series MVP. Last year, he hit 350 in the World Series. This year, he's hit a home run in the World Series. So just a big clutch player, and he pops it up. It's playable for Zio, and he makes the easy catch for the first out of this inning. So good start for Leiter, 2 pitches and 1 out. But there's nothing like baseball, folks. There really isn't. And that's why you love the game, because a lot of times the best team doesn't always win in baseball. Football, if you're the most dominant team, you have the most dominant quarterback, you usually win. Same thing with basketball. I mean, you saw how the Lakers just manhandled the Pacers in the NBA Finals, and the pitch to Pettit is right down there for a strike. So, baseball is the one sport, though, that anything could happen. Pettit is a career 0.71 hitter and fouls it off. It was not a bad swing by Pettit. But again, Pettit is not used to hitting, and there's no excuses. You don't make any excuses. The Mets, they can't use the DH in the home field ballpark. The Yankees, they're able to use it in their home field ballpark. So when they don't, they have to deal with it. They have to try to make the best of it. And the pitch is outside for a ball. But really, the Yankee hitters only bat when they play interleague, and you only play the Eastern Division. So, and the pitch and swung on a miss, beautiful pitch by Leiter, and Pettit is easily struck out there and 2 away. So, listen, you make no excuses. The Mets, they weren't able to use the DH in the Yankee, or the Mets, they can't use the DH in their ballpark. They're figuring out ways to score runs here, and the Yankees will do the same. But the Mets hitters definitely have an advantage, or the Mets pitchers have more of an advantage when it comes to hitting because they hit year round. So, the Yankees aren't used to that, but you make the most of what you have to do with it. It is very strange how one league doesn't have the pitcher bat and the other league does. That's outside the Vizcaíno. But it's been that way since 1973. I think Ron Bloomberg was the first ever DH. He played for the Yankees, and they happened to play a day game, so he was the first DH. Swung on and missed by Vizcaíno. The ball was really inside, but that's the beauty of Leiter. Like I said, he has a bag of tricks, and he totally handcuffed Vizcaíno there. You could see the crowd. They're into this right now. And boy, there are a lot of Yankee fans there as well. And that's inside for a ball. Count is now 2-1. But that's what makes the series fun, too. You got Mets fans there. You got Yankee fans there. So they have a lot of fun with each other. As long as it's innocent, that's all that matters. The 2-1 pitch is way outside for a ball, 3-1. So, if you're Leiter, like I said, you would like to have a clean inning here. So I think it's important he gets Vizcaíno. Just it gives the Mets confidence that the Yankees didn't answer after the Mets scored those 2 runs, and that's low. Oh, he called it a strike. Boy, that ball was very inside. Vizcaíno was about to take a shin guard off, and the umpire called it a strike. Very surprising, but now the count is 3-2, and that's a big break for Leiter and the Mets right there. We'll see what happens here. And the 3-2 pitch. And this crowd is on its feet. This is a big pitch for Leiter right here. The 3-2, and he got him right down the middle for a strike. And Vizcaíno was ready to walk to first again. I thought that pitch was a no-doubter. It was right down the pipe. Great pitch by Leiter. And that retires the side. So after 2.5 innings of play, the Mets hold the 2-1 lead. The Mets come up in the middle of the third. Right now, you have to really credit the Mets. They are doing everything to do what it takes to win this game. And you got your big bat up here now, Mr. number 31 right here, and it's outside. Piazza, who got a hit his first time up, he's hitting 278 in the World Series with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, but he has gotten a hit in every game. The 1-0 from beautiful pitch by Pettit, sinking slider, and the count is 1-1. Piazza could not, couldn't hold up on it. Pettit is a gamer, and thank God, if you're a Yankee fan, that they were able to talk George out of trading him. That would have been disastrous. And a ground ball to Brocious, he'll make the easy play to Martinez, and 1 away. Piazza got jammed on that pitch, and easy play for Brocious, but really is amazing to think and George has done a lot of things right, don't get me wrong, but that would have been disastrous to trade Pettit. I mean, he was 27 years old at the time. It made no sense to do. George panics sometimes. If you're having a bad go at things, he just is quick to give up on you, but he hasn't done it like he did back in the 80s. And I think part of it is Gene Michael is still around. I think he talks him out of a lot of things. And George does trust Torrey because the guy has won 3 championships. Why wouldn't you? And that's low to zeal, 1-0. But, there you look at Joe Torre right now. They're showing a camera angle on him, and just a tremendous job that Joe has done in his 5 years as manager of the Yankees, and that's high to zeal. Count is 2-0 right now. But you really have to give a lot of credit to Joe Torre, and Mel Stoudemire as well. Now, Mel hasn't been able to be available. Oh, nice pitch by Pettit. Beautiful curveball and strike to Zeal. Billy Connors is substituting for Stoudemire as pitching coach. Mel, of course, is battling multiple myeloma, a rare form of cancer, and he's doing a lot better, but he just can't be he has to kind of stay away from being in the dugout, and he's still undergoing treatment. But he is in the clubhouse from what I've been told, so he is offering advice. I know when Clemens was having a rough moment with the bat incident the 2-2, and it's right down the pipe for strike 3, and beautiful pitch by Pettit. And hard to believe Zeal is retired because he has just been the one guy that the Yankees can't get out, but they get him there. Beautiful pitch by Pettit, 2 away. But I know Mel kind of calmed Clemens down the other night. So even though he's not physically in the dugout, he's in the building. So I think that matters. Who could forget, though? They just showed a couple images from the New York papers. Clueless Joe. Torre has no idea what he's getting himself into. What could Steinbrenner be thinking? Ground ball by Ventura. Vizcaíno steps to his right, makes the play, and that retires the Mets in order. And a quick 1-2-3 third inning for Pettit. We've played 3 here at Shea. Mets 2, the Yankees 1. In Game 5 of the World Series, the Yankees had a 3-1 lead. But Torre has had the last laugh. I mean, they've won 3 out of 4. They're the first team to win back-to-back since the Blue Jays in 92 and 93. And if they win tonight, they'll be the first team since the Oakland A's from 72 to 74 to three-peat. Derek Jeter will lead off the 4th. The pitch from Leiter is outside for a ball, 1-0. Jeter, of course, like I said, big home run last night. He struck out his first at bat, but he is hitting .421 in this World Series, and he's just been having a great – and that's hit deep to left, but it's playable for Agbayani. It was hit well, but just not hit hard enough, and quickly 1 away for the Yankees. It looked like when he hit it good, but it was an easy routine play for Agbayani in left field. But I'll tell you, Jeter, the bigger the moment, the bigger the player. He is nothing phases this guy. I have said this many times. The 3 best players in baseball are A-Rod, Jeter, and Nomar Garciaparra, and they all play shortstop. And one has to wonder, A-Rod's in the building tonight. I saw the camera showing him. One has to wonder if the Mets are going to make a serious run to get A-Rod. And could you imagine if you have Jeter playing shortstop for the Yankees and A-Rod playing shortstop for the Mets? Boy, I'll tell you, when those teams play each other during the season, it's going to be must-see baseball, and that almost hits just this 1-0 count right there. But if I do fully expect the Mets to make an offer to A-Rod. I think they would be foolish not to. And if they're able to land him, oh my God, it's going to be something. It's going to make the whole franchise so much different, and that's outside 2-0 to Justice. But we'll see what happens. But you would have Jeter and A-Rod playing in New York, and you would have Nomar playing in Boston. You'd have the 3 best players in the game right next to each other playing, and that would be something very, very special for everyone. And the 2-0 pitch, and Justice flies it to left. Agbayani's got it, makes the catch for the second out. Was hit pretty good by Justice, but right at Agbayani. And, of course, if there is a Game 6, it'll be Roger Clemens versus Mike Hampton. Hampton was the MVP of the NLCS against the Cardinals. Clemens had that tremendous game against Seattle, the 15 strikeouts, the 1-hitter, and then he came right back in the World Series in Game 2 and outpitched Hampton for an 8-inning shutout, and the Yankees went on to win that game 6-5 and take a commanding 2-0 series lead. Here's Bernie, who finally got his first hit at a World Series, and it was a big one, a leadoff home run in the second inning, and the pitch to Bernie is low. And I think for Bernie doesn't get flustered. You could see it by his demeanor, but I think it was important for him to get that home run. I think now you'll see him start to hit in the 1-0, and it's grounded through for a base hit past the Divin Ventura, and Bernie has got his second hit of the game and 2 for 2, and that's huge for Bernie. And I'm telling you right now, if he's going to start to hit, whether we have baseball on Saturday or we don't, if we have baseball on Saturday and Bernie's going to hit like this, that's another weapon the Yankees have, and they desperately need it. He is their cleanup hitter. He's their best hitter, so you really need him to hit. And Tino comes up. Tino, what a World Series, 421, 2 RBIs, but the RBIs were so huge. They were in game 2. And if he doesn't get that last RBI in the 8th inning of game 2, the Yankees may lose game 2. That was an insurance run that we didn't realize was needed, but it really was. So what a World Series for Tino. And you feel good for him because he's a class act, one of the real good people in the game. And he has had just a great playoff and World Series. So, and he swings and misses right there on a beautiful slider by Leiter. But great to see Tino doing well. And he, like I said, you can make an argument for him to be the MVP of this World Series. He's been so clutch. And he did everything in that game too with 2 outs. That's what I think really stands out the most is he got it done with 2 outs. The 0-1 from Leiter, and it's popped up. I think it's playable. Let's see if Ventura has it in foul territory. He does, and that'll retire the side. Yankees do get a hit from Williams, but that's all they get. And after 3.5 innings of play, the Mets hold on to a 2-1 lead. We go to the middle of the 4th. Big inning for Pettit here. You know, you want to get a 1-2-3. You don't want to make the Mets think they're in, and that's a strike right there. Beautiful pitch to Bubba Trammell. Trammell's a hard-nosed ball player. He really plays the game the right way, and the Mets love the way he plays in it. That's it, and that's in there for a base hit to right field. So good start for the Mets. They lead off with a base hit. Really needed that. You know, if you're the Mets, you got to score runs. I've said this, that you can't have the Yankees hanging around and only have a 1-run lead on them. You do that, you have to believe they're eventually going to start to scrap away and, you know, chop away. But I'll tell you, so many great World Series that we've gotten to witness. For baseball, it would mean so much for this series to go 7. It really would. But even if it doesn't, I know that Bud Selig and his crew have to be very happy with how this World Series has been played, the intensity, the energy, and Pettit throws over to first. Jay Payton is the batter. But really, we have seen just tremendous juice with this World Series. It's been special. And if you live in New York, I mean, it's almost like, you know, they say the city never sleeps. Well, it really hasn't slept these last 2 weeks. And Pettit pitches to Payton. That's low for a ball. And that's really what makes this game so great. And, you know, you think to yourself, too, if you ever got to see this with the football teams, if you ever got to see the Giants and Jets playing a Super Bowl, oh, my God. I mean, like the tri-state area would just be on fire. I mean, it would just be so pumped up. The pitch to Payton, and that's grounded. That's going to get, and boy, Vizcaino went to second. That was dangerous. He got Trammell, but that ball was not hit hard. But he gets the force play at second and 1 out, and Payton is at first. I'll tell you, no matter how many times they're showing the clip of Jackie Robinson sliding in the home plate and the umpire called him safe, to this day, I can't tell if he's safe. I can't tell if he's out. It's one of those where you just don't even know. I know Yogi Berra has said forever that he was out, but of course he's going to say that. I mean, he's on the opposite end. Jackie, you know, the Dodgers forever have said that they've thought that it was the right call by the umpire, and of course they're going to say that. But, I mean, that was the first time the Dodgers were able to finally get past the Yankees. I mean, for many years, they could not beat the Yankees, and that 55 World Series changed everything. And you knew, like, eventually that if they played each other enough times, you're not going to beat them every single time. That's just not realistic. But that was definitely something unique for sure. And Jackie Robinson, of course, his number is retired, and every baseball team has retired that number now. Some guys still use it. Mo Vaughn still uses it. Of course, Mariano Rivera still does because they had it before it was retired. But that was one of the best things baseball did, because Jackie Robinson was everything that was good about the game, and he is a credit to the game. And Bud Selig decided to do that in 1997, and I just think that was a great job by him and the people in baseball in general. That had to be done. Kurt Abbott is now up for the Mets. Abbott, of course, got on his first time up, and he swings and misses. Beautiful slider by Pettit, 0-1. Abbott is another one who's a gamer. He can manufacture hits. He could do a lot of the little things. And the Mets have just had so many guys this year on that team. Little Joe McEwen, who's just been outstanding off the bench. Matt Franco, just so many guys who could come up there. Darryl Hamilton, so many guys that could come up there and do the little things for the Mets. And it has given them a big advantage. That's low. And 1-1 is the count. 1 out in the fourth inning for the Mets, and Jay Payton is at first base. Again, the Mets have a 2-1 lead, and Pettit is set to deliver. The 1-1 pitch to Abbott is high and is 2-1. A lot of people have talked about Jorge Posada defensively. I think he's only gotten better as a catcher. He's really worked hard, and he's done a great job with this pitching staff. And one of the things he does is he calms El Duque down. When El Duque is getting a little, razzled out there and frazzled, Posada's there to kind of calm him down. And that's what a catcher has to do. And I know Clemens has really enjoyed pitching to Posada this year, and that's low. And now the count is 3-1. Leiter is on deck. So if you're the Mets, you want to get on here. You want Leiter to come up with 1 out. It's not the best situation, but you saw last time he was up, he made the most of it. But you definitely would prefer to not have Leiter lead off the next inning. So the worst thing the Mets could do right here is go into a double play. They have to either get Abbott on, or at least not, don't end this inning with Leiter on deck. And he breaks his bat, and that's out of play. Abbott broke his bat, and it went to Jeter, and there's a big laugh right now. Jeter is smiling, and the crowd is laughing. Of course, we all know what that's about. I don't have to paint the picture for you right there why everybody's laughing. But Jeter fields the bat with his glove, and he's laughing. The crowd is laughing, and right now they're showing Clemens, and Clemens isn't going to laugh. He's got the serious look on his face. I'm sure that whole thing was very regretful for Clemens, but he's not gonna find the humor in that. He's just not. And count is full right now to Abbott. Big pitch for Pettit. You don't want to, you want to get him, and you want Leiter to come up because, and that's out of play. You want Leiter to come up. You would love to lead. You would love to have Leiter lead off the next inning, because, listen, I know he got the bunt down, but he does not hit. Historically in his career, he's been a very bad hitter. So you want, Pettit jumped when that bat went off Kurt Abbott's, when it broke off of Kurt Abbott's back or bat. Piazza's laughing right now too. Full count to Abbott, who's had a good at bat here. He's fouled off quite a few pitches. The 3-2, and that's pop. That's out of play. He's battling. One thing about the Mets, and they don't strike out a lot either. I know they struck out a lot against Clemens, and they struck out a lot against El Duque. But for the most part, this team puts the bat on the ball. They really do. And Mookie Wilson giving some advice to Jay Payton at first. I think what he's probably telling him is, do not let this guy pick you off. I'd be almost certain that's what he's saying to him. The 3-2 from Pettit Will Payton run here? I don't think so, but the pitch and fouled off again. Good at bat by Abbott. Real good at bat. That's what the Mets need to do. If they're not going to score, they have to at least go out there and have productive at bats against Pettit. And they're doing that tonight. They've come ready to play. I thought they would. I didn't think they would just slide down. You don't win 90 plus games like the Mets and win the National League Championship and just kind of throw the towel in because you're down 3-1. Pettit's got that game face on. The 3-2 from Pettit, the pitch. And it's low ball 4, and that is tremendous for the Mets. Now you've got Leiter coming up, but at least you get Leiter up with only 1 out. If you get him up with 2 outs, it's not the best thing, but you could almost have Leiter bunt here. I know it's not, you don't want to give up an out, but at least you get Agbayani coming up with 2 guys on with an opportunity to get another run. But you have to, if I'm Leiter, I would bunt again. I would, because he's not a good hitter, and he could help the Mets here by getting these runners over. So we'll see what he does here. The pitch from Pettit, and he goes to first, and he's got him picked off. Oh, my God, Abbott got picked off. What was he thinking? Terrible job by Kurt Abbott right there. You cannot get picked off. And Tino was playing behind Kurt Abbott, and then he sneaks on the bag. Beautiful throw over to first by Pettit, and Abbott gets picked off, and he's just got to be beside himself. I don't know how he did that, and that is a bad job by Kurt Abbott. And it made no sense, You've got Payton at second base. Why is Abbott taking a big lead to begin with? And 1 out with 2 on is now 2 outs with 1 on, and without Leiter up at the plate. And just not a good base running move by Kurt Abbott. And that's a strike right down the pipe. 0-1 to Leiter. I'll tell you right now, Mookie Wilson has to take a little of that blame too, because, there was no need for Abbott to be that far off the bag like he was. And Tino did a great job of and swung on and missed by Leiter. Count is 0-2. Tino played behind him, and I think that's why they were able to pick him up, because I think Abbott felt because Tino was playing behind him, he did not have to worry about a pickoff move. But it was a great job by Pettit and Tino to decoy Abbott. The 0-2 pitch and ground ball hit the Jeter. He will throw to Martinez. That will retire the side. No runs, hit, but a very bad base running blunder cost the Mets a big out. After 4 innings of play, it's still Mets 2, Yankees 1. We go to the top of the 5th. While we have a second, I'm trying to look on the replays, and really, I think Abbott just thought the way Tino was playing behind him, he didn't have anything to worry about. And you have to expect when Andy Pettit has that great pickoff move, you cannot take anything for granted. And there you see Billy Crystal talking to the commissioner of baseball, Bud Selig. But that's a big – listen, I know Leiter was coming up to the plate, but with 1 out, you don't know what could happen. And what a World Series for O'Neill. He's hitting .529 in this World Series. Just remarkable. And he'll lead off the top of the 5th. And Leiter pitches to O'Neill and fouled off out of play. But I just don't know what happened there. But, you have to kind of blame both Abbott and Mookie Wilson, because Mookie's got to tell him, don't get that far off the bag. Your run right now isn't important yet. And it was just bad base running right there. The 0-1 to O'Neill, and that's inside for a ball. What a series for Paul O'Neill. And I would say right now, he might be the front runner to win the World Series MVP. I know that's premature. There's no guarantee that this series is going to end tonight, but O'Neill has just been outstanding in this World Series. The 1-1 to O'Neill, and that's inside for a ball. Leiter thought he had a strike, but it was a little inside. 2-1. What a Yankee O'Neill's been the 8 years he's been here. He also is a big reason they turned it around when they had that winning season in '93. And if you remember, there were a lot of phone calls that day on radio stations badmouthing that trade when O'Neill was traded to the Yankees for Roberto Kelly, the 2-1 from Leiter. And beautiful pitch, beautiful curve by Leiter, 2-2 to O'Neill. But O'Neill got the last laugh. He hit over 300 his first 6 years with the Yankees. He's driven in 100 RBIs the last 4 years with the Yankees. I mean, just a tremendous, tremendous Yankee. And he is so loved by the Yankee fan base. The 2-2 from Leiter. And O'Neill just kind of throws his bat out there, fouls it off. But it was a defensive swing, no doubt about it. There you see some Met fans having a good time. And, you know, it's great when the kids can come see these games. They may not remember them like you and I are going to remember them if we're at the games, but they definitely remember. They'll definitely remember being there. And that's really a great sight to see. The 2-2 from Leiter to O'Neill, the pitch, and it was high. It was a nice curveball, but just a little high and inside. And it's now 3-2 to O'Neill. Paul has just been on fire in this World Series. I mean, you know, you could call him Mr. Triple the way he's been playing. I think he's had 3 triples in this series. I mean, just and he's not a fast runner, so to have 3 triples, you know he's hitting the ball well. The 3-2 from Leiter and a ground ball, and is it going to get through? And he's out. I'll tell you what, good play, excellent play by Abbott, but I thought O'Neill might have been safe. I mean, I got to see a replay on that. O'Neill thinks he's safe. Good job by Lee Mazzilli to get O'Neill away because you don't want to get thrown out of this game. And here comes Torrey to argue. But I got to see a replay. It looked like to me that O'Neill beat that out. But it was a great play by Abbott. It looked like it was going up the middle. He makes a nice play. Let's see right there. And, you know, I don't know. I can't really tell on that angle, and I know you guys can't see it. But it was a great play by Kurt Abbott, and let's just see if he gets O'Neill. Let's see. Oh, he got him. Good call by the umpire. It looked O'Neill beat the throw, but he didn't get his foot down, and the ball went in Zeal's glove before O'Neill's foot went on the back. So excellent call by the umpire. Great job. Initially, when I saw it, it looked like O'Neill was safe, but it was the right call. So great job by the umpire. And that'll bring up Posada. Jorge, of course, is 0 for 1 in the game, and Leiter delivers the pitch, and that's gonna be a base hit to left field. Good start for Posada. You know, getting a 1-out single there. He's been slumping quite a bit, and that's a great job. Now, if O'Neill's safe there, and you can't just assume that it's going to unfold like that. You can't assume that Posada is going to get a base hit, but just say we do assume, the Yankees go from having 1 guy on to having 2 guys on if O'Neill's called safe there. But I do believe the right call was made, and I think that's a great job by the umpire. The whole series, the umpiring has done a great job. They really have. I mean, no complaints. This crew really, in my opinion, probably deserves an A-. They've been tremendous in this World Series, and they haven't tried to make it about them. Sometimes umpires do that. This crew is just umpired the right way, and they're showing a couple more angles. I don't see any evidence of him being out or being safe there. He was definitely out, and I could see why O'Neill argued because he did beat the throw, but he didn't get his foot down. And again, they're showing the replay. Great job by Lee Mazzilli to push O'Neill away. I mean, that's the right thing. You can't get thrown out of this game. Now, I don't think the umpire would throw him out. He knows the significance of this game and what this means, but you don't want to take a chance. And Lee Mazzilli does a good job of that. But I think the call was the right one. I don't think it's really debatable. It's really not. And that's going to bring Brocious up to the plate. 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. I don't know why they're throwing the first base. I can't see any scenario where Posada is going to steal second base. If you followed his career, I mean, he can't run to save his life. The pitch is inside for a strike. count is 0-1. Leiter is really dealing tonight. His stuff looks tremendous. He's really pitching well. And again, I mean, that's why I think the Mets need to score some more, because if you could score a couple more runs, you'll win this game, because Al looks like he's on his game, and he throws over to first again. I'm very puzzled by this. I don't know what would possess them to throw over twice with Jorge Posada at first base. And that's no knock at Posada. Hey, some guys are fast, some guys aren't. He's just not fast. The 0-1 and grounded, that's going to go to Zio. He makes the play at first, throws to second. Posada is going to beat it. Zio took too long to throw it to second base. So the Mets get the out at first, but Posada does go to second with 2 outs. But it was hit somewhat hard, but the way Zio had to try to step on the bag and he had to kind of turn, he had to kind of do like a 360 to turn around and try to get Posada. The ball was a little bobbled as well, but Posada does beat the throw, because you got to tag Posada when you get the first out at first. Then Posada did get in there, and him and Abbott almost collided right there badly. I mean, one of them could have really got hurt, and that'll bring up Pettit. And ground ball, oh, no, it just goes foul past Ventura. That was inches from being third, and that would have been huge, because that would have definitely scored Posada. The way the ball was hit and where it was going, Posada would have easily scored. But I'll tell you what, man, it was a good call. It did go foul, but barely. I mean, Pettit almost stole a hit right there. And that's the thing. Like, you can't just assume that you're going to get the pitcher out. These guys, in baseball, these guys make things happen. And you can see right there, Pettit, who's not used to hitting, he almost got a big hit right there for the Yankees. But the Mets, they dodged one right there. And Leiter knows it too. When you're a guy like Andy Pettit, that's what you're trying to do. You don't bat a lot. You're going to try to hit the ball the opposite way. You're not going to try to pull anything, because that's not how you're going to get on. You're not going to pull the ball against somebody like Al Leiter when you're not used to hitting like that. The 0-1 from Leiter, the pitch, and ground ball, and that's going to go to Fonzie. He'll throw to first. That'll retire the side. And after 5 innings of play here at Shea Stadium, the Mets can hold on to a 2-1 lead as they come to bat in the bottom of the 5th. So I'm sorry, we played 4 and a third innings, but we go to the bottom of the 5th now. Right now, if you're the Mets, you've gotten through the Yankee lineup with 1 run through the first 5 innings. I mean, if Leiter could give you a couple more innings, you could go to your bullpen. Now, I know Armando Benitez, he blew game 1. He's always kind of been a very spotty postseason pitcher. But with that said, I mean, you have him as your closer for a reason. So if you could get Leiter to pitch a couple more innings, maybe you have John Franco, even Glendon Rush, maybe Turk Wendell. You have those guys pitch in the 8th inning, one of them or whatever. You can possibly get to Benitez in the 9th, but you need Leiter to give you at least 2 more innings for sure. And right now, the way he's pitching, I don't see any reason why that can't happen. And the Mets' top of the order will come to bat here in the 5th inning. Benny Agbayani will lead off. Benny, it's funny. He had a very, unique moment during the regular season. Mets were playing on a Saturday night. I want to say they were playing the Giants. I think it was the Giants. And Benny caught the ball. He thought there were 3 outs. He gave the ball to a fan, but there was only 1 out. So 2 runs ended up scoring. Now, the Mets ended up winning. He fouls that pitch off. The Mets ended up, and the count was 0-2. The Mets ended up winning that game, but Benny took a lot of heat for that mental block. But he's been so clutch for the Mets the entire postseason. He hit the walk-off home run in game. And did he swing? I think he did. Yeah, he did. And Pettit gets Agbayani on 3 pitches. Big first out for Pettit in the bottom of the 5th. But Benny has been as clutch for them. He got the big hit in Game 3 against the Yankees that scored 2 runs, and the Mets won Game 3 to kind of get back into this series. So he's been a productive New York Met. He really has been. A guy who needs to get going is Alfonso. He's up at the plate right now. He's 0 for 2, and he's batting 111 in this World Series. Like I said, outstanding second baseman for the Mets, great power hitter, hits for average, an all-star. And you can make an argument he should have won a couple Gold Gloves by now. I don't know why he hasn't, but he is as good as any player, and that's grounded to Jeter, and he will throw, and quickly there are 2 outs, and Alfonso's struggles continue. But really what's hurt the Mets in this World Series is he is not hit. So Piazza hasn't had many opportunities to come up with men on base. They didn't play Timo Perez tonight, obviously, with Pettit pitching. But Timo, he made the base running blunder in Game 1. He had that great series against the Cardinals, but he hasn't really had the best series against the Yankees. So not having Timo and Alfonso really hit in the series has hurt the Mets. And, you got to credit the Yankee pitching staff because they have contained the Mets very well in this World Series. And the pitch, and that's hit deep into center field. That's going to go past Bernie Williams. Piazza is going to have a 2-out double, and Mike Piazza continues to hit well. I mean, he has just been outstanding for this Mets ball club. I think someday when you look back on Piazza and his baseball career, he's going to go down as one of the greatest New York Mets ever. In the 3 years he's been with the Mets, he has just been something special. I mean, he's changed the whole make of this organization, and he hits that one in the gap. It goes in between Justice and Bernie for a 2-out double, and this is big here. This is a big at bat for Zeal. If he could get a 2-out hit here, you go up 3-1. I mean, you're putting the pressure on the Yankees, and they're going to walk Zeal. And I think this is the right thing to do. You want to take your chances with Ventura. It's lefty to lefty. So I think this is a good call by the Yankees. So they're going to intentionally walk Zeal. And whoa, that one almost got away from Posada. But Zeal has hurt them the entire World Series. So I think this is the right move. This is a good call by Joe Torre. It really is. And I think he is really, he's going to play the percentages, and Zeal will walk down the first base, and Ventura will come up with a chance to do some damage with 2 outs here. And Ventura, he's only hitting 167 in this World Series, 1 home run, 1 RBI. They need him to get going as well. I mean, that's where it's really hurt the Mets. I mean, their pitching hasn't hurt them. I mean, Hampton had a bad game too, but otherwise, the Mets pitching staff has pitched well. They just have not hit enough. And Pettit rears back. The throw to Ventura, and it's in there for a strike, 0-1. This Mets crowd is coming alive right now. They know how important getting this extra run here is. They need a 2-out hit from Ventura here. Pettit is set. The pitch. And, swung on and missed. Beautiful pitch by Pettit. He blew it right by Ventura, and he's quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. You see right here, I mean, Ventura, he swung late here. He didn't even have a chance at it, and he's really struggling right now. And if I'm Pettit, I would throw him the same pitch. I really would. We'll see what happens here. But Pettit ahead on the count, 0-2. And the pitch, low for a ball. Count is 1-2. Ventura, of course, is a 3-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove winner, many years with the Chicago White Sox. And, of course, he's been with the Mets the last 2 years. And who could forget the grand single he had last year against the Braves in Game 6 of the NLCS. The 1-2 pitch, and it's hit to left field, but David Justice is right there. He makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. So the Mets leave him stranded. At the end of 5, it's the Mets 2 and the Yankees 1. The Yankees will have the top of the order coming up in the top of the 6th inning. Beautiful sight right now in New York City. They're showing you the entire ballpark right now. And I'll tell you what, if there's one thing I really hope as a baseball fan that there's always been talk about the Mets and Yankees getting new ballparks, but I hope neither ever leaves their respective stadiums. Shea has a history to it that's beautiful, and of course, Yankee Stadium is majestic. So I would be very upset if either of these clubs moved out. And the pitch to Vizcaino is low and inside, and 1-0 is the count. Vizcaino has, like I said, he hasn't really hit since that first game. But if the Yankees go on to win this, nobody will care because that's a strike right there, right down the pipe, 1-1, because that 12th inning hit that he got against Turk Wendell was as big as any hit in this World Series, the 1-1. And a ground ball, and it goes right back to Leiter, and he throws to Zeal quickly, one away, and that'll bring up Derek Jeter. Right now, Leiter he is really dominating the Yankees. They've gotten a couple hits off him, but he continues to battle, and he is getting the better of them right now, and he holds a 2-1 lead. Jeter, who, again, I said could be one of the front runners to win the MVP, he's having an outstanding World Series, as he always does, hitting 400. Not a lot of RBIs, but he has gotten on base a ton of times, and, of course, he had the home run last night, so the pitch to Jeter, and almost hits him. Came very close, and quickly it's 1-0 to Jeter. Jeter will work the count. He is tremendous at doing that, and Leiter knows that. So I think Leiter is going to, show him so many different pitches. The 1-0 to Jeter, and that's in there he called it a ball. Looked like he had it in there for a strike, but it must have been low, and he called it a ball. But one of the things about Leiter is he could be his own worst critic. He never feels like he did enough when he pitches. I mean, there was the one night in Cincinnati, he was very hard on himself. He gave up 3 runs in 8 innings. He thought he pitched really bad. 6 innings of 3-run balls considered a quality start. The fact that he went 8 innings and gave up 3 runs, I mean, that's a great start, but he's very hard on himself. He wants to be perfect all the time. And usually when guys like that want to be perfect all the time, that's why they're successful, because they're never settled. They're never satisfied with how they do. They always feel like they could be better. You see Randy Johnson's like that. Tommy Glavine's like that. I mean, these guys, they just want to be the best every time they go out there. So it's no surprise that Leiter is hard on himself. David Justice is on the on-deck circle. Jeter ahead in the count 2-0. You got to wonder if he'll take a pitch here, but this Leiter will definitely have to throw him a strike there. You do not want to put Jeter on with Justice on deck. The 2-0 to Jeter, and the pit, and it swung and hit deep to left. Back is on Biani, and forget about it. That ball is gone. And just like that, the Yankees have tied it up 2-2, and Derek Jeter does it again. Oh boy, Leiter made a mistake. He hung a breaking ball, and Jeter made him pay for it. And the game is tied 2-2. And I'll say this again and again. Missed opportunities, getting picked off at first base. You cannot do this against a money ball club like this Yankee ball club, and they will make you pay eventually. And Jeter, I continue to say it, but what a player. And you can look at the pitch sequence. He throws him away, and then he just throws a breaking ball that didn't break well at all. And it was a no-doubter. And Leiter knew it. You see him kicking the dirt. And we are tied right now. And you look at the Yankee bench. Tino Martinez knew it right away that it was gone. And Yankees are, it's a whole new ball game now, and it's outside the Justice 1-0. Derek Jeter, I'll tell you, if there's 2 outs and it's the 9th inning and you're losing by 1 run and you got a guy on base, Jeter's the guy I want up there. He's the guy I want to make that last out, because he is always going to work the pitcher, and that's in there for a strike, 1-1. He's always going to work the pitcher, and he's always going to have good at bats, and you want Jeter in there in the big moment. And he has proven over the years to be everything that the Yankees thought he would be when they drafted him back in I believe it was 92. The pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Beautiful pitch by Leiter. Count is 1-2. One thing about Al, you're not gonna, like I said, you're not gonna rattle him. He made a mistake. He knows he made a mistake, but he's going to go back out there and continue to pitch. He's not going to let it. He's not going to dwell on it. Let's put it that way. The 1-2 justice. Did he swing? I think he did. Yes, he did. Good call by the umpire at third base. And 2 out. And I'll tell you, Leiter has been very tough on the Yankee left-handed hitters tonight. They have not had good at-bats against him at all. And this is going to bring up Bernie Williams, who was 2 for 2. Of course, Bernie got the lead up, the Yankees on the board with his first hit being a home run to left field. So it looks like Bernie's come out of his slump. And, that was big for Bernie. He needed to do that. Let's see what he does at this at-bat. But currently is hitting 118 in this World Series, and that's low for a ball. So him and our Algardo Alfonso, they've both had a tough World Series. But I think Bernie said something that was interesting last night when they talked to him in the press conference. He said he's not really concerned about how he's hitting as long as they're winning the games. And the pitch to Bernie, and that's low. Count is 2-0. And that's true. If they're winning the games, he's not going to let it bother him that much. But I know he still wants to get it going. He really does. And Leiter, as you can see, Leiter is not phased. He's upset he gave up that home run, but he's right back out there battling. And that's what he's going to do. And he's done that his whole career. Al has now played 13 seasons, the pitch to Bernie. That's low, 3-0. Leiter having a tough time getting a call from the umpire because that could have been a strike. Tino Martinez on deck, 2 outs in the 6th. The Yankees have tied it with Derek Jeter's 1 out home run and the 3-0 to Bernie. I would green light Bernie here. Why not? If he throws him a good pitch, I would swing. And that's low, and he walks Bernie on 4 straight pitches. So Bernie's had a perfect night at the plate. He's had good at-bats tonight, and I think it's safe to say he's coming out of this slump. Now, Tino Martinez will come up. Al has been so tough on the Yankee left-handed hitters tonight that this walk may not be a bad thing. We'll find out, but Tino has been very clutch, and we'll see what he does. I'll tell you, Leiter is funny when he gets mad. I mean, you don't want to laugh, but like when he gets upset, when he does something wrong, it's almost like he's having an argument with himself. Tino hitting 400 in this World Series, but he has done a tremendous job in this World Series, and he has been a tremendous Yankee in the 5 years he's been there. And Leiter throws over to first. Now, that makes more sense than it did when they were throwing over there for Posada. Bernie, when he first came up with the Yankees, I think the Yankees thought he was going to steal a lot of bases for them. He has tremendous speed, but they quickly realized he's too good of a power hitter, and they, weren't too concerned about him stealing bases. They wanted him to be productive with home runs and RBIs, and he has lived up to all of that. The pitch to Martinez is in there for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Again, Tino came over in a trade from Seattle. The Yankees sent Sterling Hitchcock and Russ Davis, and the Yankees got Tino Martinez and Jeff Nelson, and both have just been tremendous for the Yankees. Nelson has been one of the core in that bullpen, and Tino has been one of the core in that Yankee lineup. So I think it's safe to say Sterling Hitchcock was a Padre in the 98 season. And in fact, he was the NLCS MVP in the 98 NLCS series. So he wasn't even with Seattle for more than 2 years. So I think it's safe to say that the Yankees got the better end of that deal. Lou Piniella, he could never understand why they had to trade Tino. It was definitely because of money. But Lou Piniella loved Tino Martinez. He did not want to see Tino go. And you can see these Met fans, they're trying to root Leiter on. The 1-1 to Tino, the pitch. Did he go? I think he might have. They checked over there. And nope, said he didn't go. So it's now 2-1 in the count. Tino was able to hold up. Replay is showing that he did hold up. So good call by the umpire. You could see he didn't really swing. Oh, not even close. Not even close. So good call by the third base umpire. The 2-1 from Leiter. And these Met fans, I'll tell you, they have been as loyal as any fans. The 2-1 to Tino, and it's outside 3-1. One thing about Tino, too, he'll work the count. This is why these Yankees have been so successful. Everybody in their lineup is a hard out. They don't just, lie down for you. They're going to go out there and they're going to make you work. And Leiter's worked hard tonight. I mean, he's pitched a great game because he has had to work for it, the 3-1. And that's in their first strike. Count is full, 3-2 with 2 outs. Bernie Williams at first, and we are in the 6th inning of a Game 5 World Series, and the crowd is on his feet. This is big right here. Leiter has to get Martinez the 3-2, and it's grounded right at Abbott. He will throw to first in time, and that'll retire the side. No harm, no foul, but the Yankees do tie the game up on one pitch from Derek Jeter, who hit his second home run in this World Series and has just been giving the Mets pitching staff tons of problems. After 5 and a half innings of play, the Yankees and Mets are tied 2-2. The pitch to Trammell is inside. Count is 1-0. Bubba's having a good postseason as well, hitting .333 now. He's had 2 hits in this game, which has helped. The pitch, and it's grounded to Jeter. He throws to Tino, and he got him. Oh, it was a bad throw, but Tino Martinez did a good job of applying the tag. I'll have to see the replay, but Bubba Trammell's not really arguing it. He's kind of mad that he didn't beat the throw, but he's not arguing, so I think he got him. Yeah, he got him. He was able to get him on the left side of his elbow right there. So good call by the umpire, and great job by Tino Martinez to make the play. And, Tino, I've always said this, it bothers me a lot. Rafael Palmeiro won the Gold Glove last year, and he played 21 games at first base, and he won the Gold Glove. Tino is as good as any first baseman in the game, and why he never gets any love when it comes to his defense, it really boggles my mind because he is as good as anyone. The pitch to Peyton is low, 1-0. Peyton is hitting .316 in this World Series with 1 home run and 3 RBIs, and he's 1 for 2 tonight. Trammell mad at himself. But, Trammell gave it a go. I mean, it was great hustle because it really was a routine play by Jeter. He just didn't make a good throw. And a ground ball to and then Broch just can't handle it, and Peyton is going to get on at first. That ball took a bad hop, and it was hit very hard. I would give him a hit. I don't think that was an error at all because it was just hit so hard. It kind of handcuffed Broch's look. It takes a high hop. It almost hits him right in the face. He was able to put his glove there to shield it, but that was hit so hard. I would give him a hit. We will see what the official scorer decides, but I would definitely give him and they are giving him a hit. So that's a good job by the umpire or by the official scorer. That was a hit in my opinion. It was hit so hard. It's one of those where it was hard to make the play. And Kurt Abbott misses badly right there. Abbott, of course, got picked off in the 4th inning. That was a huge play in that inning because the Mets had 2 on with 1 out, and you had Leiter bat, and then you couldn't afford to get picked off like that, and he did. You wonder if it's going to come back to bite the Mets. We'll have to see, and Abbott fouls it off, and the count is now 0-2. I'll tell you, Pettit looks like he's getting stronger. He has really buckled down since that 2nd inning when he got into some trouble. He had a little trouble in the 4th, but he pitched out of it, and he has really seemed like he is calmed down, and he is just pitching really well right now. Crowd is on his feet. They're trying to get this team any energy they can, and woof. Abbott just kind of put his bat right there. It was like a defensive swing, and he fouled it off to stay alive. Again, Pettit pitches better to right-handers than left-handers. If you look at him historically, and this whole Yankee pitching staff, the left-handed pitchers between Pettit, Stanton, Denny Nagel, they have really been able to give the Mets problems, the right-handed batters for the Mets. If you notice, Torrey had Stanton in there last night in the 7th inning because he felt like Stanton gave them the best chance against those righties, and he blew each one of them away. So, I mean, they've really done a great job of containing the Mets right-handed hitters. The 1-2 pitch to Abbott. Pettit sets, and Abbott steps off. One thing about Kurt Abbott is he plays with a lot of intensity. And that's what, like I said earlier, the Mets love that about him. Joe McEwen, Matt Franco, Darryl Hamilton. These guys all play, Lenny Harris, they all play with an edge. The 1-2 pitch and a ground ball and it's foul past Brochus. We'll do it again. But that's why the Mets have, and that's why the Yankees win, and that's why the Mets have been winning, because when you have those guys that are able to come off the bench and do the little things, it gives you an advantage over other teams. And the Mets do a great job of that. And as you can see, Mike Bordick, they just showed him, he's kind of been his playing time is reduced because he's not hitting at all for the Mets. And I think they're a little disappointed. They know he's a good defensive player, but they thought he'd hit better than he has. And he really hasn't hit since he's come over from Baltimore. The 1-2 to Abbott, and he fouled that off his knee. That's painful. But Bordick hasn't really hit at all. And I don't expect Bordick to be there next year. I think that if Alex Rodriguez is not the starting shortstop next year, he actually fouled it off his foot. If Alex Rodriguez is not the starting shortstop next year for the Mets, then, I mean, that's a disappointing offseason, because that's the guy you really want. And I really believe A-Rod wants to come to the Mets. I think he wants to play in New York. He grew up in this area. I know he grew up in Miami, but he has ties. I want to say he was a Mets fan growing up. So I think that he really wants to play for the New York Mets. I mean, I think the bright lights of New York City is something that's very intriguing to him. I don't expect him to play for Seattle because I don't think Seattle is going to be able to afford him. A-Rod's going to become the highest paid player in baseball. And the teams that could afford A-Rod, the Yankees could, but where are you going to put him? They're not going to just say goodbye to Jeter when he's done everything he's done. So you're not going to get him. The Red Sox are not going to just tell Nomar Garciaparra to get lost. The Dodgers, I don't think they'll really go after him. So I think the Mets are the most ideal team for A-Rod to end up with. And I'd be shocked if he's not a Met next year. And right now, both bullpens are quiet because both starting pitchers are just pitching outstanding. The 1-2 to Abbott, the pitch, and Pettit delivers, and a ground ball, base hit. And Kurt Abbott, I'll tell you, the base running blunder aside, he has had a good night at the plate. That's his second hit of the night. And the Mets got something cooking in the 6th inning here. But, of course, Leiter is coming up again. Now, see, this is where you run into a problem with the pitcher batting. You have 2 on, 1 out. This is a situation where if you didn't have the pitcher batting, you can do something here. But you can't pitch hit Leiter because he's pitching too good, and you need him out there to pitch. So you're really like almost conceding an out right here. And I know he got on before with the bunt, and you can't assume that the pitcher is going to make an out, but he is an automatic out most of the time he comes up to the plate. So with 2 on, this is the worst case scenario for the Mets that Leiter is up, and he's going to bunt. And Posada almost got, boy, I'll tell you, the Mets, they are not doing a good job base running tonight. Peyton just got back, but Posada almost got him. He was leading off the bag at second, a little too far, and Posada was very alert, and he made the throw to Jeter, and they just missed getting Peyton. Good job by Peyton to get back, but boy, he is lucky he got back. If he ever got picked off there, and Jeter just missed the tag. Jeter should have tagged him on his back. He tried to tag him on his side. I don't know why. The 0-1 to Leiter. He's going to bunt again. So the Mets are conceding an out here. I mean, Leiter's going to bunt. They're going to, and it goes right to Tino. He throws over to Vizcaino, and quickly Leiter is retired. And there's 2 outs with 2 on. That's going to bring up Agbayani. I mean, it was really the right call. I mean, Leiter just isn't a good hitter. This is where he could help you the most at the plate is with bunting the ball. So they really, I'll tell you what, if Brosius was playing too far in, if he wasn't playing in, Tino had to play at third base, but Brosius was too far up, so Tino had to go to first. And he's kind of looking at Brosius like we would have had him at third. You could see it. But this is big here. Benny Agbayani, he has been clutch. He needs to get a base hit here with 2 outs. You get a base hit here, it's going to be 4-2, and that puts the Mets in great shape the way Leiter's pitching tonight. Pettit is at 100 pitches right now through 6. But that means nothing to him. Pettit's used to pitching in those type of situations. You know, pitch counts mean nothing to Pettit. They mean nothing to Clemens, El Duque. That to Leiter, to Hampton, those guys don't care about pitch counts. They'll pitch until their arm falls off. And now Agbayani, the pitch from Pettit is low, 1-0. And this crowd is erupting right now. They want to get a run, and they need to get a run. It's very important. So we'll see what happens. And Pettit's set. He waves off Posada. He sets the 1-0 tag by Agbayani, the pitch. And it's low again, 2-0. And it's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to get behind in the count because then you have to throw a strike, and that's where damage could be done. However, both Pettit and Leiter throughout their careers have been known to be behind in the counts, and they always battle back. So they're used to this type of situation. Alfonso was on deck, and the Mets really need this run here. The pitch, and that's right down the pipe for a strike. Good pitch by Pettit. Agbayani is as clutch as any Met there's been in the last couple of years. He's the guy you want up here right now. You want him or Piazza up in a situation like this because they have been so clutch in these playoffs for the Mets. The 2-1 from Pettit. He sets and the pitch. And, Agbayani, that was a defensive check swing, and he fouls it off, and now it's 2-2 on Agbayani. Big pitch in the game right here for both sides. Crowd is on its feet. You could feel it. They are dying for something. They are dying for a moment here. And as you can see on the replay, he kind of just check swung the pitch. He didn't really know. It was kind of a defensive swing. The 2-2 from Pettit. And the pitch. And he steps off. He must not have liked what Posada called, so he would try it again. And you see a fan right there praying. Listen, these Met fans, they've been loyal all year. They've supported this team all year. Great fans. The 2-2 from Pettit to Agbayani. The pitch. And grounded to Jeter. He will go to first, and that'll retire the side, and Pettit gets out of it. No damage done. After 6 innings of play, we are tied at 2. We go to the 7th inning here in Flushing. I mentioned before, I really don't want to see these teams ever leave their respective ballparks. I mean, if you go to Shea Stadium, the Jets fly by. It's an old stadium, but it has some great history to it. It really has like a special feel about it. And I'm not saying that I'm a Mets fan or anything, but there is something about it, and I'd hate to ever see it go. And the same thing with Yankee Stadium. I mean, there's nothing like going to Yankee Stadium when you hear Bob Shepard. I mean, I have a feeling someday they're both going to try to get new stadiums. I think that's something that Mayor Rudy Giuliani has really advocated for, but I really hope it doesn't happen. That would be a shame. It really would. And O'Neill is up at the plate. Paul is 0 for 2 tonight, but what a series he's had. He's currently at 500 in the series. Leiter has pitched magnificently tonight, and that's low for a ball. He's made 2 mistakes 2 home runs, one to Bernie Williams in the second inning and one to Derek Jeter in the sixth inning. And other than that, Al hasn't even really been in any significant trouble. He's allowed a couple base runners, but he's gotten out of it every time. I don't even know if there's been a guy past second base tonight. The 1-0 to O'Neill. The pitch. Oh, beautiful pitch by Leiter. Great curve. And the count is 1-1. Swung on and missed by O'Neill. See, that makes Al, it's so hard to hit that pitch because it comes at you and it looks like a strike, and then it just keeps going lower and lower. But by the time you realize that, you've already committed to it. Joe Torre knows it too. You could hear it, you could see him talking to Don Zimmer about it. The 1-1 is inside, 2-1, high and inside. What a player number 21 has been for these New York Yankees. You just can't say enough about what he has meant to the organization. He has just been outstanding. The 2-1 to O'Neill, the pitch, and that's outside, 2-2. Or 3-1, I'm sorry, 3-1. This is big if you could get the leadoff runner on. The Yankees haven't really had that tonight. So if you could get the leadoff guy on, that's big for the Yankees. I don't know if Al's tiring a little bit. He doesn't look as sharp with this at bat to O'Neill. The pitch, did he swing? And O'Neill works a walk, a leadoff walk for O'Neill. Great at bat for O'Neill. And now you got Posada coming up with O'Neill at first base. Now O'Neill's not a base threat. He's not going to steal bases, but you have him on there, and you never know. The Yankees may try a hit and run here. They're very good at doing that. But this is big. This is a big inning for Al Leiter. If the Yankees score here, I mean, the Yankees are set up for so many ways. Like, they could realistically go to their bullpen in the seventh. They could let Pettit pitch another inning, and then they could have Mariano pitch for 2 innings. I know he did last night, but that doesn't seem to bother Mariano. He's still very young, and he could pitch 2 innings. That never phases him, and that's low for a ball, 1-0. Dave Wallace is a little concerned. I don't know if he feels like Al is losing a little, but the pitch to Posada, and that's hit deep to left, but Agbayani's got a beat on it, and he's going to make an easy catch for the first out, and O'Neill bluffs a tag in. But Posada hit it decent, but just not hard enough, and it was a routine play in left field for Agbayani. One thing Al Leiter said about the Yankees lineup is, he was talking about it last night, is you don't have an easy out in that lineup. You have to really work to get them out, and that could be an advantage for a team when they have a lineup like that. So you have to really watch how you pitch to each batter, because there is no easy out in the lineup. And that could be true about the Mets too. The Mets don't have guys that knock the world, and that's a strike to Brocious, that light the world on fire when they hit, but other than Piazza and Fonzie and Agba or Zio to a degree, but they have guys that manufacture hits. What's really hurt the Yankees, I think, and I'll get to it in a minute after this pitch, the 0-1 pitch is low for a ball, is the Yankees have not been able to play Chuck Knobloch in these 3 games at Shea. He's pitched hit once, but because he's had all his problems defensively at second base, they've been forced to play Vizcaino and Luis Sojo, and they don't really hit a lot. Now, again, Vizcaino hit in the first game, and Sojo got an RBI ground out last night, and they're both great productive players for the Yankees. They do the little things, but Knobloch is one of the best leadoff hitters in the game. And when you lose that, you have to have G, and that's a little looper, and that's going to be caught, and Trammell makes the catch in right field for the second out. But not having Knobloch, that's really hurt the Yankees. They had Jeter lead off last night, but most of the time they've been having Vizcaino lead off. So it really hurts them. And now that was a big out for the Mets, because now you have Pettit coming up, and with 1 on and 2 out, and a guy who's not used to really hitting, it sets Leiter up great right now. So we'll see what happens. But if Leiter gets through this inning, he's giving the Mets all you could ask for. He's given them 7 innings, a 2-run ball. I think he's only given up like maybe 4 hits, and that's bunted by Pettit, and it's bunted foul by the third baseline. 0-1. It's not a bad idea for Pettit. He's not used to hitting, so you try to figure out a way to get on base any way you could. But, you run into the problem, too, when the pitcher gets on base, and especially Pettit, who doesn't do a lot of running because he doesn't bat a lot, of getting hurt. So, it's almost like a negative to have him get on base. The 0-1 pitch, he's going to try to bunt again. Did he go around, though? And that's a ball, though. Said he didn't swing. You could clearly see that Pettit's mindset in this at-bat is to try to bunt for a base hit. And you can't really blame him. Like I said, that pitch was outside, and good call by the umpire. And Pettit really didn't put the bat through the 1-1 pitch. Leiter looks like a gamer tonight, I'll tell you. He's got that look of a warrior, and he goes over to first. I'll tell you, man, they're throwing over to first the guys who don't steal bases and don't run well at all. O'Neill and Posada. I just don't get it. I don't know if that's just to kind of, it's like a stall tactic to give him a little breather. The 1-1 to Pettit, the pitch, and that's in there for a strike, 1 and 2. Pettit thought it was a little outside. Looked a little outside, but it was close enough where it was too close to take. There you see a sign that says believe, and that was the Mets rally cry in '86 when they made that comeback against the Boston Red Sox. So anything could happen, and these fans know this. The 1-2 to Pettit and grounded right at Zeal. He'll take it himself, and we are through 6.5 innings, and Al Leiter has gone 7 tonight of 2-run ball. He has pitched great, and we will go to the bottom of the 7th. There you see some of the retired numbers for the Mets, and you look at number 37 right there. That, of course, was Casey Stengel. He was the first manager of the Mets, and that team the first year lost 120 games. But Casey played a big part by managing that team. He brought fans into the stands. He had a great sense of humor. He had a lot of fun with that team. I think he managed them for 2 or 3 years. And the Mets fans felt, or the Met organization felt, he was very impactful to their organization. And of course, he was a terrific manager with the Yankees, winning 7 championships. Alfonso leads off and he takes a ball high. It's a big inning for the Mets. You got Alfonso, Piazza, Zeal, and if one of them gets on, you got Ventura. This is really where you could do damage against Pettit. The 1-0, and that's in their first strike, 1-1. I'll tell you, the umpiring's been great tonight for both sides. Can't say enough about the umpiring in this series. They've done a great job. They handled the Clemens situation with Piazza well. No fights escalated. Great job by the umps, and that's low, 2-1. Tell you what, as it gets late in these innings, you just feel like something dramatic is going to happen for either team the way it's going, and that's why you got to love this game very much. And it looks like Al's coming back out for the 8th. He didn't go to the locker room. He looks like he's coming out there, and swung on and fouled off by Fonzie. Count is 2-2. Boy, if there was ever a guy that needs to get on base, it's Edgardo Alfonso. And you really feel for him. He's a class act, just a great, great player. And he's been as big as anybody for the turnaround of the Mets organization and the franchise. You want to see him do well, and he's just had such a tough go of things. He really has. He steps off for a second, and we'll take this time to pause for a second. And you really hope that he kind of comes out of this slump before it's too late, because sometimes you're measured by what you do in the postseason. And I know Barry Bonds is. A lot of fans get on him because he hasn't really done well in the postseason. But you don't want to see that happen, because Alfonso he's been a great New York Met. He's been important to that franchise as anybody. He's a homegrown Met, so you really want to see him do well. And the count is 2-2 on Fonzie. He leads off in the 7th here. Pettit has just been great tonight as well. He's given up 2 runs, but both were unearned. So he has just been outstanding tonight. Piazza waits on deck. Piazza has 2 hits in this game as well. The 2-2 to Alfonso, the pitch. Grounded, and that's a base hit. Jeter cannot get it, and it goes through for a base hit. And Fonzie leads off with and boy, did he need that. That was huge for Alfonso, and he leads off with a base hit to start the 7th inning, and the Mets got something going here, and they needed that. Went between Brocious and Jeter, a clean base hit. Jeter had no chance at it. He really didn't, and that's big for Alfonso because he has been struggling this whole World Series, but he gets a leadoff single there, and sometimes the little things matter, and less could be more. So with the big guy coming up, this could be a big inning for the Mets. And Pettit deals the pitch, and that's low for a ball, 1-0. Piazza is hitting 300 in this World Series. He's 2 for 3 tonight with a single and a double. Just one of the very best in the game of baseball. Definitely the best catcher in baseball. The 1-0 from Pettit. He sets, and the pitch. And swung on and missed. I couldn't, at first it looked like he fouled it off, but he actually swung on and missed it. So good pitch by Pettit. I mean, Pettit's not afraid to go in there and challenge these guys. You're not going to be successful like Andy Pettit if you're afraid to battle, and he's never afraid to do that. He lives for the moment. The 1-1 to Piazza, the pitch, and that's out of play. And Pettit is ahead in the count, 1-2. On deck, of course, is Todd Zeile, who's had an outstanding World Series, as we all know. He's been just so tough to get out. And you see the sign, "Let's go Mets." You see a Piazza jersey. These fans are into it. This is their team. They love this team, and they've been supporting it all year. You know, even through the ups and downs, this team has found a way, and they've gotten themselves into the World Series. The 1-2, the pitch, and it's grounded foul past the third base bag. Good play by the ball girl over there. But I got to tell you that this Mets team never dies. They had a real bad stretch at one point. They had lost 2 embarrassing games to the Braves, and then they found a way to come back and win like 7 in a row. So this team never quits. They never die. And that's why even when they were down 2-0 in the series, you didn't believe it was over. And even though they lost last night and they're down 3-1 in the series, it doesn't feel like it's anywhere close to being over right now. This crowd is on its feet. Piazza, the pitch, and fouled out of play. I'll tell you, these Mets batters are making Pettit earn his money tonight. They are making him work. And you got to give them all the credit in the world. You really do. Right now, though, this is a big inning for both teams. The Mets really need to score this inning. And if the Yankees could get out of this with no runs, you got to feel good about the late innings that the Yankees have the advantage. The 1-2 from Pettit. He goes over to first. And good job by Alfonso. He's not even close to being off the bag. He realizes that every run matters, every at-bat matters, and he's not about to get himself picked off here. Alfonso is capable of stealing bases, but he's not going to try it here with Piazza batting. The 1-2 to Piazza. Pettit deals the pitch, and that's, Piazza. He took that pitch. It might have been a little outside, but it was borderline, very close to take, and the count was 2-2. See if they show a replay here. See Bobby Valentine. He hasn't sat the entire night. And then you got Joe Torre, who hasn't stood up the entire night. Both different managers, but a lot of similarities in the sense that they know how to keep their clubs under control. The 2-2, and that's hit to center, but I think Bernie Williams has a beat on it, and he makes the catch. That's a big out for the Yankees, and for the first time since the first inning, the Yankees retire Piazza and 1 out in the 7th inning. It was a pitch-by-pitch sequence, and Pettit really battled there. Really pitched efficiently to Piazza, and, it took him 7 pitches to get Piazza, so Piazza worked him good, but Pettit won the battle. And I mean, when you could get Mike Piazza out, you know you're doing something right because every time he comes up, you think he's going to hit a home run. Zeal is up now. Zeal is 421 in this World Series. Like I said, he has been great for the Mets in the World Series. A great pickup this year for the Mets. He signed with them in the offseason, and he has just been outstanding for them. He really did a tremendous job in his first year as a Met at first base. Pettit goes over to first. Not even close. Alfonso is hardly off the bag. He has no interest in trying to steal a base here. And this group is into it. Both fans are having a good time with each other. This is why baseball needed this. They needed a Subway Series. Pettit is set. The pitch. And fouled off. Boy, he really jammed them there. Pettit looks to be getting stronger too. But this could be the last inning for Pettit. I don't know if it will be, but it most certainly could be. I mean, the Yankees, I fully expect them to either go to Nelson or Stanton in the 8th inning. That just seems to be the Joe Torre way. And Pettit has thrown a lot of pitches, so this could very well be his last inning. We'll have to see. The 0-1 to Zeal, and good play by Posada. That almost went through. He was able to stop it, and the count was 1-1. You know, that ball was in the dirt, and Posada did a great job. And, you know, for everybody that says, oh, Posada's not a good defensive catcher, he's done a great job all year blocking balls, and he's really handled this pitching staff well. The 1-1 to Zeal, Pettit sets, and the 1-1 pitch, and that's outside, 2-1. You know, these fans, they're into this. I mean, they love this team. And that's important, too, because the crowd does give you – it kind of gives you that burst of energy. If you're, like, tiring, they kind of are there to kind of make you go out there and give a little something extra. And they're doing the 2-1 pitch, and that's in there for strike 2-2. Good pitch by Pettit, good curveball. This Mets crowd all year has just been with this team pitch by pitch, game by game. They love this baseball team, and they're just great fans, like I said, and they always stick by their players. The 2-2 from Pettit, and he goes over to first again. Alfonso has shown no desire to run, but I think for Pettit, it's to make him not even – he's trying to basically tell him, don't even try it, because if you do, I'm going to throw over there. And Alfonso is not even attempted to try to steal a base. The 2-2 from Pettit, the pitch, and that's outside, 3-2. This is big here. You don't want to have 2 on. Ventura is so due to come up with a big hit that they get Zeal on. This could be a big inning for the New York Mets. And Mookie Wilson is kind of going over things with Alfonso. I think he may run here because I think now is the right time to do it. Let's see if he does. The pitch, nope, he stays. And struck him out. Got him on a slider. Beautiful pitch by Pettit, and he retires Zeal, which has not happened much in this World Series, but he got Zeal there. Great job by Pettit, and I'll tell you, he has pitched wonderful tonight. Beautiful job. And, you know, you see the pitch sequence, they're showing it, and kept going outside, and then he just threw him that low slider, and he was able to get him on the 6th pitch of that at bat. And Ventura swings and misses for a strike. Another slider by Pettit, great pitch. Ventura has really struggled in this World Series. I mean, it's funny. They have that thing in the Daily News, who's the stud and who's the dud or whatever. And Ventura hasn't won that honor, but you can make the argument that he really hasn't hit well at all either. I mean, he's been really bad. Great player, just has not produced in this World Series, and it's a 1-1 count to him. Pettit sets the 1-1 pitch, and that's low for a ball, 2-1. Pettit, I think, is at about 123 pitches right now. I don't have the official number. I'm just going by what I've counted, and I think he's at 123. I'd be shocked if this is not his last inning. The 2-1 pitch to Ventura. Beautiful curve. Oh, he called it a ball. It was a little high, but it was a beautiful pitch. He kind of froze Ventura. And you see the Met fans kind of holding hands, hoping for a big inning right here. The 3-1 pitch. And, good cut by Ventura. Went foul, but a great swing. Probably the best swing he's had in the last 2 games. Very good. Little too early on the swing, but one of the better swings he's had in this World Series. So that was something. Maybe he can get going. I don't know if he can, but you really hope he can. And you'll just have to see if that could. And Pettit steps off again. I don't know. And Posada's coming out to talk to Pettit, so we'll pause for a second. But that was one of the better swings that Ventura had, and he really needed that. So, and now Ventura calls time. Boy, I'll tell you, this is a World Series that just has went back and forth with a lot of delays, a lot of stuff like that. But while we have that time, I mentioned Jackie Robinson and what Jackie Robinson has meant to the game, and he has meant so much to it. And he represented everything that was right about baseball. And anybody who thinks otherwise just hasn't paid attention. I mean, he really has been a guy that has represented everything that is good about baseball, and just a class act. And, just a tremendous, tremendous athlete. It's now 3-2 to Ventura. Pettit sets. And again, Ventura steps off. Boy, a lot of delays. And Alfonso takes a short lead. It's a 3-2 pitch, 2 outs, the 3-2, and swung on and missed, strike 3. Oh, what a pitch by Pettit. And if that was his last batter and last inning, a tremendous performance for number 46 tonight for the Yankees. We go to the top of the 8th. It is still tied 2-2 here in Flushing. Boy, I'll tell you, that slider just totally – those last 2 pitches to Zio and Pettit, he just pitched as good. And Chuck Knobloch's going to come up for the first time tonight. He's going to pitch hit for Jose Vizcaino. I assume Luis Sojo will come in to play second base. I'm kind of shocked, I have to say, that the Yankees haven't at least tried to have Knobloch start a game here at Shea. I mean, especially after they won last night, I don't see what the harm would have been to try to start him tonight. I mean, this is a guy who's very productive. He got the big sac fly against Benitez in game 1 to tie that game. I mean, he's a guy, and that's outside 1-0. I'm very, or 2-0, I'm sorry. I'm very shocked that the Yankees didn't give him a start in one of these 3 games. I really am. I could see if they're down in the series, but they've been up in the series, and then they went up last night 3-1. I would have started him. The 2-0 pitch, that's in there for a strike, 2-1. Leiter is in his 8th. He's in the 8th inning now, so he has pitched 7 strong innings, given up 2 runs. No surprise that Al is doing this. We see the warrior he is, the gamer he is, the 2-1 to Knobloch, and that's low, 3-1. And you do not want Knobloch to get on base. I mean, he's a guy who could steal bases. He could do things. You have to get Knobloch here. I mean, there's no margin for error anymore here. The Mets, they got to win this game tonight. I mean, as we all know, they lose, they're done for the season. The 3-1 to Knobloch. And swung on and missed. Good pitch by Leiter, 3-2. It was a high fastball, and he handcuffed Knobloch on it. Beautiful pitch. Chuck not playing every day doesn't help either. I mean, he's not used to sitting on the bench, but I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason with him if they try to get him straightened out or they move his position. But the 3-2 to Knobloch, and that's fouled off. But I mean, this guy's too invaluable not to have on your team. You have to have him on your team. He is that good of a player. Jeter awaits on deck. You have to have Knobloch on your team. So I don't know what the Yankees' plan is. I don't know if they will move him, and Leiter deals the 3-2, and that's popped up, and that looks playable for Ventura. Actually, Piazza is going to make the play, and he catches it, and quickly the Knobloch is retired. And coming up to the plate is the man who tied the game in the 6th inning, Derek Jeter. And yeah, that was an easy play for Piazza. I'll tell you, Leiter has just pitched outstanding tonight. Can't say it. Boy, Piazza almost dropped that ball. Wow. But Leiter has been awesome. He really has, and Pettit too. Great job by both pitchers tonight. And again, we'll see. I see Stanton warming up in the bullpen, so that leads me to believe he's going to come in. But we'll find out for sure if he does. And now Jeter comes to the plate. And, of course, it was Jeter's at-bat right here, and he sent it into the left field stands for his second home run of the World Series. And he has just been unbelievable for this Yankee ball club. He really has. The pitch from Leiter to Jeter, and that's outside for a ball, 1-0. You know, you feel for Al Leiter giving up that home run because he's pitched so well. He's made 2 mistakes tonight, one to Bernie and one to Jeter, the 1-0 pitch, and that's inside for a ball, 2-0. David Justice awaits on deck. You have to wonder, too, if the Yankees will try to, and a 2-0 pitch, and that's fouled off. If the Yankees will, if there is a game 6 or game 7, obviously I guess they would have Knobloch DH, but I'm curious to see if the Yankees would try to play Glenn Allen Hill or Jose Canseco a game at DH because it gives them more power. Again, I think you should take your chances with Knobloch if you're home and give him a shot at second base. And again, I would have started him tonight because guess what? It doesn't hurt to have him starting tonight because you're up 3-1. I mean, what Torrey has told you is, and I'm not blaming him because it's 2-1 pitch to Jeter, the pitch, and beautiful pitch by Leiter. He totally jammed Jeter on that pitch, 2-2. But Torrey has basically told you that he is not going to play Knobloch at second base. He doesn't trust him. And that's been going on for the whole playoffs. So, you know, it's unfortunate because Chuck Knobloch at one time was a Gold Glove second baseman. And in 99, out of nowhere, he just could not throw the ball to first, and he has not been able to correct it. The 2-2 to Jeter, the pitch fouled off. And that's like it's very, it's just very strange that he, you know, you remember Steve Sachs went through that early in his career with the Dodgers. He corrected it, but it's just very odd that Knobloch has had so much trouble throwing to first base when he never had that problem before. And you even watch him, and I'll talk about it more in a second. And Leiter sets the 2-2 to Jeter, the pitch, and that looked like he had him struck out. The ump called it a ball. It might have been a little low, but I thought he had him struck out. But when you watch Knobloch throw the ball, one of the things a second baseman is never – any fielder, infielder, outfielder, whatever, you don't – and I'll get to it in a sec. This is a 3-2 pitch to Jeter. Leiter sets, delivers the pitch, and he struck him out swinging. Big strikeout for Leiter. And Jeter even said to the umpire, he jammed me, and he really did. Great job by Leiter to come back after Jeter hit the home run, and he strikes him out. But one of the things Knobloch does that you're not supposed to do, he's looking at the ball as he's throwing it. You're never supposed to look at the ball. You get the ball, you're supposed to look at the first baseman when you're throwing it to him, and he looks at the ball when he throws it. And it's almost like he doesn't trust himself. And that's just so unique to me that he really struggles with that because, I mean, you would think, and Justice takes the ball outside 1-0. You just can't understand what happened to him. You really can't. But Justice has just been remarkable. He has been as big a pickup as anybody in the ground ball that might go through good up, and it will. Justice will get a base hit on that. That was a tough play for Kurt Abbott to try to get. He tried to stop it, but it went through. So a 2-out single for Justice. But I mean, Abbott missed the ball, but I don't think he's getting Justice anyway. That ball it just about went through the outfield. So I say they give him a hit. And, one thing about Leiter, he's getting mad that Abbott didn't make that play. You don't want to show up your infielders. He's trying his best out there to make the play. And that'll bring up Bernie, who's had a very good night. And they did give Justice a hit. Bernie had a home run to start the game. He got the Yankees going. He followed his next at bat with a single and then a walk. So he's had a perfect night. And he really needed this. I mean, he had been struggling and he was able to come up big in this game. I mean, he got the Yankees on the board to start the game. And like I said, if Bernie starts hitting, the Yankees are virtually hard to beat. They really are, because Bernie, when he hits, everybody else just follows. So big at bat here, and a big batter for Leiter right here. And Dave Wallace went out to talk to Leiter, and I think what he's telling him is, don't give him anything inside. Keep the ball outside with him. If he gets a hit, he gets a hit, but don't give him anything inside. He knows what Bernie could do, and that's probably the scouting report on him. But so I just don't know, like going forward, what they do with Knobloch. It'll be interesting to see. The pitch from Leiter to Bernie, and that's low for a ball. But we'll worry about that in the off season. I mean, this Yankee team, it's amazing to me that they lost 14 out of their last 17 games. And here they are, just close to clinching their third straight World Series title, because it looked like they had no shot when the playoffs were coming. The 1-0, and that's in there for a strike. They won that game, too, against Oakland, which they needed to win. Then Clemens had that poor game in Game 4, and they had to go all the way back to Oakland the next night. They started off the game with 5 quick runs. They won the game. It got a little close, but I think they won it, 7-5, whatever it was. And then they beat Seattle, and that's inside for a ball. Count is 2-1. And they beat Seattle in 6, and now they're ahead of the Mets 3-1. It's almost like you forget that they even went through that stretch, but they did. They had played as bad a baseball as any team could. They backed into the playoffs in a lot of ways, and there you see Peyton Manning. He's taking in the game tonight. The 2-1. They had to celebrate losing a game like 10-2 because Boston had gotten beat. So that knocked the Red Sox out of the playoffs, and the Yankees won the division. And the Yankees are celebrating, yet they had lost another game 10-2. So, I mean, it didn't look good for the Yankees, but that's why you can never, in this sport, even if it's June and your team is 11 games out of first, with the wild card now and everything that goes on, you can never assume that your team is out of it, because this is such a long season. And Bernie swings and misses there on a 2-1 pitch. Beautiful pitch by Leiter, and now the crowd gets to its feet. It's a 2-2 count. The Yankees and Mets are tied 2-2. We are in the top of the 8th with 2 out, and the Yankees have a 3-1 lead in this series. Big pitch for Leiter here. The 2-2 to Bernie, the pitch, and swung on and missed, strike 3. What a game for Al Leiter tonight. 8 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. The Mets with a chance to take the lead. Well, I did tell you that I thought this would be Pettit's last inning, and Mike Stanton is in the ball game. And who could forget? Stanton won Game 1 of this World Series, and he pitched brilliant last night. But who could forget when he came in Game 5 of that divisional series against Oakland, when Pettit was just not himself? Stanton came in with the bases loaded, 1 out, and he got out of that big jam. He pitched another scoreless inning, and Luis Sojo does come in at second base for Jose Vizcaino. But Stanton has just been as good as anybody out of that bullpen, and here he is tonight. Look at the line for him. He has given up no run. It's interesting to me that Stanton didn't even pitch in the ALCS. Now, the Yankee pitching was so good that a lot of those guys didn't need to come in, but he has just been unbelievable. He has 9 Ks in 6 innings of pitching. I mean, he has just been remarkable. And Joe Torre has said that their lefties have done a great job with the Mets right-handed batters. And that's why I figured Stanton was coming in, because I think Joe feels like Stanton gives the Yankees a better option against the Mets right-handed hitters, and Bubba Trammell will lead off the 8th inning. Big inning here. The Mets need to do something here. You don't want to let the Yankees hang around, because somebody else is lurking in that bullpen. And Bubba Trammell leads off, and Stanton sets the pitch and in there first. Called it a ball. Looked like a good pitch, but it was a little low. Stanton has been tremendous. He was good for those Braves teams in the early 90s. He was good for Texas in 96 when they had their big year and they won the division. He's just a remarkable big-time pitcher. The pitch, and that's grounded foul, 1-1. And I think that's Joe's thinking, that Stanton gives them the better option against these Mets right-handers than somebody like a Jeff Nelson would in this situation, a David Cone, even a Doc Gooden. What hurts the Yankees too is Ramiro Mendoza has been out the entire year. He would give the Yankees another option, because Mendoza is another one that gets big outs in big situations. The 1-1 pitch to Trammell, and that's popped up, and it's going to be out of play. And quickly, it's a 1-2 count on Trammell. I think it's important for the Mets to try to get the leadoff guy on here. I mean, you got to try to do something against this Yankee team. I mean, say what you want. The Yankees pitching staff has just been outstanding. From their starters to their bullpen, these guys have come up there and they have done everything that Joe Torre could ask and more. The 1-2 from Stanton, the pitch, and that's grounded to Brocious. He steps, he throws, and he gets Trammell, and quickly 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. I'll tell you what, it'd be an interesting 9th inning. Yankees still got to get through this, but we are getting close to drama-filled moments. Can it be the Mets' time for the drama, or will the Yankees add more drama? We shall see. Jay Payton, a guy that could, with one swing, quickly put the Mets ahead, steps to the plate. He's hitting .350 in this World Series, and he has 2 hits tonight. Payton has been outstanding. 27 years old, just a real good player for these New York Mets. And Stanton sets, and the pitch, and that's inside for a ball, 1-0. Payton, the Mets didn't really think he was going to be a full-time player, but he was just so good. When Daryl, who was it? When Derek Bell got hurt, they really were limited with their outfielders, and it really opened the door for Payton to get more playing time, and swung on and missed strike 1. Beautiful pitch by Stanton, 1-1 count. But, Payton is delivered. I don't think Bobby felt he was going to be a full-time player, but he proved himself. He really did, and he's been outstanding for these Mets this year. The 1-1 from Stanton, and Payton steps off for a second and steps back in. The 1-1 from Stanton, the pitch, and fouled off, and the count is quickly 1-2. I believe Kurt Abbott is on deck. And again, this is why I think Torrey went with Stanton, is because these Mets have had so much trouble hitting the Yankees left-handed pitching. Looks like Leiter's coming back out for the 9th, by the way. I don't see him going to the locker room. He doesn't even have his jacket on. I think he's coming in the 9th. I don't see anybody up there right now either. The 1-2 from Stanton and the pitch. Oof. That was a real unique curveball. It kind of just slipped out of his hand, but he almost got the strike, and the count was 2-2. Stanton is, I mean, you want a guy in your bullpen like him because he's a bulldog. He goes out there and he just battles. And you could see right here, and that was outside, but I think the pitch slipped out of his hand and he was still almost able to throw it for a strike. The 2-2 to Jay Payton, and Stanton deals. He sets, and the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. A sinking slider by Stanton, and he gets Payton, and quickly there are 2 outs, and that is going to bring up Kurt Abbott. What a pitch. As you could see, he throws it. It was a sinking slider, and Payton just tried to golf at it, and he had no chance. None whatsoever. Stanton is just, listen, you can't say enough about Stanton. And this is another guy. It was like a tumbling splitter that he threw, but you just can't say enough of what Stanton has been. And you can make a case for Stanton to be the MVP. He probably won't be because they don't give it to middle relievers like that. They'll give it to a closer as they did with Rivera last year, but middle relievers usually don't win it. But you can make the argument, and Billy Connors is coming out here. I think him and Posada just want to tell Stanton to be careful how he pitches to Kurt Abbott. Now, Kurt Abbott, he's had 2 hits tonight. He's had a decent World Series in the times that he's played. He's not exactly a guy, though, that has a lot of power. So, I mean, I think they're just telling him to be careful how he pitches to him. I think the goal is just attack him. That's what you need to do. So I think that's what the plan is. And Stanton sets, and the pitch. And that's outside for a ball, 1-0. Kurt Abbott, of course, got picked off in the 4th inning by Andy Pettitte. There were 2 on and 1 out, and that was a big inning. That was a crushing blow to the Mets. And Todd Pratt swung on and missed, strike 1. Todd Pratt, the backup catcher for the Mets, is lurking in the on-deck circle. He's in the dugout right now with his helmet on. I would assume if the Mets get some guys on, he would probably come up for Leiter, but that's only if they get some guys on. Otherwise, you'll see Leiter come out there for the 9th. The 1-1 from Stanton. And swung on and missed, strike 2. Boy, he blew it right by Abbott. And if I'm Stanton, I throw the same pitch. Abbott, the last 2 pitches, he hasn't even come close to hitting them. The Yankees will have Tino, O'Neill, and Posada coming up in the top of the 9th inning. So they have their big boys coming up. So we'll see what they do. But first, Stanton has to get through Abbott, and he's ahead in the count, 1-2. Stanton sets. He looks. The 1-2 pitch to Abbott. The pitch outside, 2-2. Kurt Abbott, he'll work the count. He's a very professional hitter, and he does a great job. He'll work the count on you, and you're going to really have to work to get him out. But he doesn't strike out a lot either. But Stanton, let's see what he does here. The 2-2, and that's hit to right field. O'Neill's got it, and that is going to retire the side. So we've played 8.5 innings, or we've played 8 innings here at Shea Stadium, and we are tied 2-2. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Martinez, O'Neill, and Posada coming to bat. Timo Perez has now come into the game in right field, so he'll take over for Bubba Trammell for the Mets, and Leiter stays in the game. He starts the top of the 9th. So we will see what the Yankees do here. But Tino Martinez will lead it off. And as I've said, Tino's had a great World Series. He's hitting .381, just tremendous. Doesn't have a hit tonight, but he has been outstanding in this World Series. So, and Leiter has pitched tremendous tonight. You can't say enough. He's thrown 129 pitches, which is just insane. But He'll start with Tino and the pitch. And that's in there for a strike. Good pitch by Leiter. Leiter doesn't look like he's lost any velocity either. He's really just seems to be getting stronger each inning. Tino's up at the plate, the 0-1, and fouled off 0-2. Tino's asking the umpire if that ball was outside. It looked to be outside, but Tino swung at it and he fouled it off. They've been showing like this one Met fan base, and they've been just so rowdy and so into this tonight. So good to see. And did he go? And he did go. The umpire calls him out. I don't think Tino agreed with that, but the umpire said he swung. Let's look at it again if we can. It was borderline. Let's see if his back goes over. Oh, yeah, he swung. Good call by the The umpiring has been tremendous tonight. You can't say enough about that. And Charlie Relaford has done a great job at third base. And Paul O'Neill is up at the plate. And, this is what Bobby Valentine wants as far as the matchups. You got two lefties, and then you got Posada coming up as a righty. And though Posada hits good right-handed, he's a better left-handed hitter. So this kind of works out in Bobby Valentine's favor with these matchups. And fouled off by O'Neill. Not a bad swing. Very good swing, but he fouls it off to left field. Count is 0-1. Boy, I'll tell you, Paul O'Neill commented last night after the game that these games are grueling, that they're tiring, they're mentally exhausting. And he really is right, because I think for a fan too, these games are just like so stressful. Every pitch is do or die, like the way the ball's hit. It's hard for you to enjoy it if you're a fan when you have either team invested, because you're just living and dying with every pitch. The 0-1 from Leiter, and fouled off again by O'Neill. And Leiter is quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. Posada on deck. But this is, like I told you, what makes baseball so great. It really does. And you just can't say enough about what the Yankees and Mets have brought to the city and to baseball with this Subway Series. And the crowd is on its feet. They want a strikeout. Leiter keeps brushing off Piazza, the pitch to O'Neill, and O'Neill just got a piece of it. Looked like he had him struck out, but O'Neill was able to foul it off. And, I'll tell you what, it didn't look like O'Neill even touched that ball. Piazza dropped it, but it didn't look like O'Neill even fouled it off. That might have been a strikeout. The 0-2 from Leiter, and he takes a big, deep breath. He sets. He rears back. The 0-2 pitch, and Leiter deals, and it's fouled out of play. And O'Neill's mad at himself. He feels like he should have done something there. Paul is his own worst critic. I've told you that for many years. And, that's what makes him such a good baseball player, because he doesn't settle for anything but the very best of himself. And if he doesn't feel like he's doing great, he gets down on himself. But at the same time, he doesn't let it affect his play. The 0-2 to O'Neill. The pitch from Leiter. Swung on and missed, strike three. Strikes O'Neill out, and O'Neill is mad at himself. But a great job by Leiter. I mean, he really had O'Neill off balance on that at bat. O'Neill fouled off some pitches, but Leiter kept the ball outside. That's what the Mets were telling him to do. He kept it outside the entire time, and then he strikes him out. Beautiful pitch sequence. It really was, and that'll bring up Posada, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Jorge hasn't had the best series either, but he has gotten some clutch hits, especially in game 2. So he has had his moments, but just not enough of them. The pitch, and that's way outside for a ball, 1-0. Leiter knew he messed up there. He overthrew it. He told Piazza. 2 out, nobody on. If the Yankees don't get anybody on, it'd be interesting to see what they do in the bottom of the ninth. Will they put Rivera in? Will they keep Stanton in? But we got to see what they do. First, the Mets have to get Posada, and swung on and fouled off. The count is 1-1. I'll tell you, Leiter has just gotten stronger throughout this game. I mean, the Yankees haven't been able to do much off him. They've gotten 5 hits off him. He gave up 2 home runs. Those were his only blemishes the entire game. Otherwise, he's been just tremendous. He has 9 strikeouts. I mean, he's just pitched masterfully tonight. The pitch to Posada, and that's low, 2-1. If you're Joe Torre, you got a tough decision to make, because if you don't score here in this inning, who do you bring out for the ninth? I mean, Stanton's pitched well, but he's pitched a lot of innings the last couple of nights. Rivera pitched 2 last night, so I don't know what his plan is. Maybe he brings Nelson in. We'll have to find out. The 2-1. Swung on and missed. Beautiful pitch by Leiter. Another splitter in the dirt, and Posada chased it, and he could not come up with it, and it's 2-2. Boy, I'll tell you, Al looks as good as I've seen him ever pitch. He is just in a zone right now, and this crowd is on its feet. The 2-2 from Leiter, and the crowd roars. They can feel it. They want a strikeout. They want strikeout number 10 right here. And Leiter sets the 2-2. Oh, fouled off by Posada. He stays alive. It looked like he had no shot, but he was able to put his bat out there and just kind of give you a defensive swing. Count is 2-2. We are in the top of the ninth inning. The Yankees and Mets are tied 2-2. And the Yankees have a 3-1 lead, and they are trying to win their 3rd championship in a row and 4th in the last 5 years. The Mets are trying to win their first championship in 14 years when they last won it in 1986. The 2-2 and fouled off again to left field. Not a bad swing from Posada, but again, fouled it off. Give him credit. He's battling too. I mean, Leiter's pretty much had him off balance this whole at bat, but he's stuck with it. He hasn't given up, and he's hanging in there. Leiter sets. Leiter doesn't look like he has any signs of tiring. He's ready. He's won 3 championships. He knows what it's like. The 2-2 and the pit. Ooh, inside, but that was very close. I don't know how Posada took that pitch, but he did. And he got away with it. I mean, it looks like it was definitely inside, but it could have been called a strike. Very close to take, but Posada took it. Let's look at it again. Yeah, it is kind of low and inside, so good call by the umpire. But at the time, I mean, with 2 strikes, you don't expect him to take that pitch. The 3-2 and Leiter sets and deals the pitch and fouled off again to the third base side. And we'll do it again. Good at bat for Posada. He's working Leiter, if nothing else. Scott Brocious is on deck for the Yankees, but Leiter is working Posada is working Leiter good in this at bat. He had his way with Tino and O'Neill, the first 2 batters, struck them both out easily, very effortlessly. But Posada has made him work in this at bat, and Posada is he's a great catcher. He's a good hitter. He does a lot of things, so he's not an easy out by any stretch of the imagination. And the 3-2 from Leiter, the pitch, and it is low, ball 4. Great at bat by Posada, and he gets on base, a 2-out walk, and Leiter is mad. That's one thing about Al Leiter. He's a gamer. He wants to win, and if he feels like he's not doing his part, he's going to let himself know about it. And Scott Brocious, they're showing on the screen the big home run he hit in San Diego to give the Yankees the lead in Game 3 in the '98 World Series, which Scott would go on to win the MVP. Brocious has been as clutch of a World Series hitter as anybody. Always comes up with a big hit, and he's been such a great acquisition for the Yankees. When they decided to let Wade Boggs go, Brocious was the guy they had replace, and that's inside for a ball. Brocious was the guy they had replace Boggs, and Brocious hasn't missed a beat. I mean, he has been everything and more. John Franco is now in the bullpen for the Mets, but Brocious has been everything and more that the Yankees could ever hope for. Just a solid third baseman, a World Series MVP, a lifetime 350 hitter in the World Series, and that's in their first strike 1-1. He has just been, as like I said, big of clutch player as anyone. Luis Sojo waits on deck. Leiter sets. The 1-1 pitch to Brocious. Posada's at first with 2 outs in the 2-2 tie. The 1-1 pitch from Leiter to Brocious. The pitch and into left field for a base hit. And the Yankees have 2 on and 2 out. Scott Brocious gets a 2-out base hit. And the Yankees have first and second with 2 out. And Luis Sojo will come to the plate. You know, normally, if you didn't, in a lot of ways, if you didn't pitch hit Knobloch already, this would have been a situation maybe to have Jose Canseco or Glenn Allen Hill pitch it. Glenn Allen Hill is on deck for Stanton if Sojo gets on. But you know, I think in this situation, Joe Torre may not want a power hitter because he probably just wants Sojo to get a hit. And a guy like Canseco or Glenn Allen Hill, they may try to swing for the fences. And this may be a better matchup that Torre wants. We're going to have to see. Now, Leiter has thrown 141 pitches. I mean, he's clearly tiring in this last inning. He got the first 2 outs quickly, but that at bat to Posada took something out of him, and then Brocious just got a hit. And now Sojo will come up with 2 outs with the game tied 2-2, and this will be 142 for Leiter. He sets. He's ready. He rears back. The pitch to Sojo. Up the middle. It goes through for a base hit. Payton is charging. Posada is running. The throw hits Posada. And Brocious is going to score 2. And the Yankees take a 4-2 lead. Oh, my God. Can you believe that? Can you believe it? Luis Sojo, an unlikely hero, gets a 2-out, 2-run double for the Yankees. A bad throw allows Sojo to go to third. It also allows Brocious to score. And the Yankees take a 4-2 lead in the top of the 9th with 2 outs. And that's going to be all for Al Leiter. Oh, my God. Let's watch it again. It looks so innocently. Sojo just hit it, and Payton was charging. The throw was there, but the way Piazza was positioned at home plate, it hit Posada, and the runner is allowed to move 2 bases from where he is. Well, Brocious was already way past second. So because of the bad throw, that allows him to get 2 bases, and that's why he was able to score there. And the Yankees now have a 4-2 lead, and John Franco is going to come in, and that's going to be all for Al Leiter. And good job by the fans giving Leiter an ovation. He certainly pitched well enough to win, and it's sad that this had to happen because he definitely deserved a better fate than this. But it's just unfortunate. And Glenn Allen Hill is now coming up to pitch hit. Franco is doing his warm-up pitches, but Glenn Allen Hill will bat for Mike Stanton. And Stanton is in position to win the game, and that would give him his second win in this World Series. But I'll tell you what, Sojo came up, and who could believe it that he would be the hero? And it's no disrespect to Luis Sojo. He's a clutch player in his own right, but he's more for his defense than his offense. But he just first pitch, Leiter threw it down the pipe, and he swung, and it went through. And now Sojo has his name attached to some unlikely heroes. Now the Yankees still have to win the game, but they're going to have the man that always gets it done come in the 9th, and they're in great position. Glenn Allen Hill is up at the plate and fouls it off for a strike. John Franco has had a great year for the Mets. He also was the winning pitcher in the only game they've won in this World Series. Over 400 saves in his career. He has just been outstanding for the Mets in his career. Also pitched for the Cincinnati Reds for many years. But he accepted last year that He lost the closer role to Benitez. He became the setup man. He never complained, and he has just been the ultimate team player. And if you were happy for somebody in that game 3, you really were happy for him because he deserves it. And that's high for a 1-1 count for Glenn Allen Hill. Hill, of course, came to the Yankees in a midseason trade with the Cubs and did a tremendous job. He hit 14 home runs for the Yankees. So he was outstanding, and he's just been happy to be here. He's loved being here. And now he gets a chance to add to this 4-2 lead, the 1-1 pitch, and it's low, 2-1. The Yankees, the Mets will have a pitch hitter in the 9th for Franco. Then you're going to have Agbayani and you're going to have Alfonso, and you need to get somebody on to get Piazza to the plate. But you know you're going to have to do it against the great Mariano Rivera. The swung on and fouled by a Hill, and that'll even the count at 2-2. What a turn of events. It all happened with 2 outs, nobody on. It was all so innocently. It was a walk to Posada, then Brocious got a hit on a 1-1 pitch, and then Soho on the first pitch he saw from Leiter hit it up the middle. It was a very weak base hit to center, but enough to get through and scored Posada after the ball hit Posada, and it scored Posada and Brocious. And here we are, Yankees 4, Mets 2, and the Yankees are 3 outs away from a three-peat, which has not been done for a long time, and that's high and inside to Hill, and the count is 3-2. Good at bat by Hill. This Yankee team, I'll tell you, no matter who it is, they always seem to get the clutch hit. They really do. And you could see Jose Vizcaíno. He's talked about how much he wants to win a ring. You could see him just pacing back and forth. He wants to win one. They're 3 outs away, 4 outs away, because they have to make an out here. And it's hit to left, hit deep, but Agbayani is going to catch it. And he makes the catch, and we go to the bottom of the 9th, and the Yankees are 3 outs away from a three-peat. Can they do it? We'll see. Darryl Hamilton is going to pitch hit for John Franco. He'll lead off the 9th inning against Mariano, and not the best matchup for the Mets. Mariano is much better against left-handed hitters than he is right-handed. So not the best matchup, but the best option the Mets have right now to put anybody up there. So be interesting, but we'll see what happens here. Hamilton hit 250 in this postseason. He hasn't had many at-bats, but he has like 4 hits in the postseason. He's done okay. He's been there mainly to pitch hit and for some defense. But now he's got to go against Mariano, which is no easy task. Mariano has just been tremendous in the postseason throughout his career. The pitch to Hamilton in there for a strike, 0-1. Listen, Hamilton, he has to get on base. A home run isn't going to help the Mets right now. You need to get on base, and you have to try to get Piazza up. And that's what he knows he has to, and fouled off. See, a home run gets you 1 run, but you're still behind 4-3. You need to get on base so you can get the tie-in run to come to the plate with somebody on. So he's quickly behind 0-2 to Mariano. And Rivera sets back. The 0-2 pitch to Hamilton. He sets, he throws the pitch, struck him out swinging, 1 away in the 9th inning. Hamilton is quickly gone in the 9th inning, and the Yankees are 2 outs away from a three-peat. If this game stays the way it is, the player of the game, who else would it be, or the play of the game? It would be Luis Sojo, a 2-out 9th inning base hit that scored Jorge Posada and Scotty Brocious and gave the Yankees a 4-2 lead. Sojo, who came to the Yankees in midseason after playing for the Pirates, after being with the Yankees for 4 years, he returned to the Yankees in midseason, and now he stands to be the hero. 1-0 count to Agbayani. Agbayani got the big hit tonight early on. It was a little small hit. The ball bobbled by Brocious, but nonetheless, he got an RBI and gave the Mets the lead at the time, which they would hold for a few innings until Jeter tied it with a solo home run with 1 out in the 6th inning. It's amazing, though. Soho, he could put his name next to Billy Martin, Bobby Richardson, if the Yankees hold this game as the most unlikely heroes. We'll see what happens. The 1-0 to Agbayani, it's low 2-0. One thing about Rivera, he can walk people sometimes. He does get a little of a wild streak when it comes to facing right-handed hitters. He's much more, like I told you, he's much better when he pitches against left-handed hitters than he is right-handed hitters. I mean, he's good again, and that's high 3-0. He's dominant against both, but right-handers tend to hit him a little better than left-handers do. And Agbayani is going to take 2 pitches here. He's ahead in the count 3-0, and he's going to make Rivera at least try to throw him 2 strikes. So we'll see what happens here. But it's 3-0 on Agbayani. Rivera sets and a 3-0 pitch. And it's high, ball 4, and the Mets have a life. Agbayani gets on base, and that's huge because if Alfonso doesn't ground into a double play, Piazza will come up to the plate. Alfonso, I'll tell you, man, if there's ever been a beleaguered player in this World Series, it's been Alfonso. He has not had much to make the Mets fans cheer about in this World Series, but that all could be erased with one swing at a bat. But it is very hard for right-handers to hit home runs against Mariano. So we'll see what happens. Rivera sets the pitch to Alfonso. In there for a strike, 0-1. And, you know, one thing is the Mets, and it's the right move. You want to take some pitches against Mariano because he did just throw 4 straight balls to Agbayani. You want to make him work a little bit. You really do. And 0-1 to Alfonso. The pitch, and that's high, 1-1. And Agbayani steals second, and the Yankees will just let him go. His run means nothing right now, so they will let him go uncontested. And it is a 1-1 count on Alfonso. Fonzie, again, has had a rough World Series, but he's had a pretty good postseason prior to this World Series. The 1-1 from Rivera, the pitch, fouled off. Oh, that was a pitch to hit right there. And Fonzie had a good swing, but he fouled it off. But that was a hitter's pitch right there. It was right down the pipe. Real good chance to hit it, and he simply fouled it off. The count remains 1-2. And these Met fans are trying to cheer their team on. They have not given up. They got the rally caps on. And the 1-2 to Alfonso. The pitch. Hit in the air to deep right field. Not that far. O'Neill's there. He makes the catch. Agbayani will tag up. And the Yankees are 1 out away. 1 out. And they will have a three-peat for the first time since the Oakland A's did it in 1972, 73, and 74. But to do it, Mariano Rivera is going to have to get out, the greatest hitting catcher in the game. It's kind of funny because the greatest closer in the game against the greatest hitting catcher in the game. And this is how it should end. It's either going to end with an out or Piazza, does he have one in him to send this game to extra innings? We shall see. But this is why we like baseball, because it's moments like this. Here we go. Mariano to Piazza. And Jeter's telling Mariano, you got to be very careful how you pitch to him. And Rivera sets. And the pitch. In there for a strike, 0-1. The Mets with 2 outs and a runner at third trail 4-2. The Yankees are just 1 out away from a three-peat, something that hasn't been done in over 20 years, 25 years, as a matter of fact. And the 0-1 to Piazza, the pitch to Piazza. Swung out and hit deep to center, but wait a minute. Bernie Williams has a beat on it. He makes the catch. That's it. The ball game's over. And the New York Yankees, for the first time since the Oakland Athletics, who did it in 72 and 73 and 74, have three-peated, winning the World Series in 98, 99, and now 2000, and they beat the Mets in the Subway Series and win their 26th World Championship in their illustrious history. The New York Yankees are once again world champions. Unbelievable. The celebration is on. This is just remarkable. You could see, look at Tino Martinez and Paul O'Neill. They're out there crying, hugging each other. David Justice, Joe Torre is emotional. It has been an emotional season, but somehow, some way, I don't know how they did it after the way they finished the season. The Yankees pull it off and they win their 26th World Championship. You know, it's the most common word, it's the most common phrase in baseball. The Yankees are world champions. And there's a reason for that. This franchise just knows how to do it. They do it better than anybody else. And you got to give them all the credit in the world. They, through every challenge, through every obstacle, through every hardship that they went through, they somehow found a way. They don't do it easy. It never looks smooth all the time, but they win. They don't have superstars. They don't have guys that hit 50 home runs or even hit 40 home runs, but they have guys who win and they know how to win. And the New York Yankees are world champions for the 26th time. They have won 3 in a row and 4 out of the last 5 years. Congratulations to Joe Torre, to Brian Cashman, to George Steinbrenner, and the entire Yankees organization. They have done it again. And also congratulations to Derek Jeter, who not only was the All-Star MVP this past season, he can now say he's the World Series MVP, as it's just been announced that Jeter has won the World Series MVP. Congratulations to the shortstop of the Yankees on winning the MVP, and congratulations to the Yankees on winning championship number 26. For everyone here at the Yankees Network, I'm Mike Kenichi saying good night, everyone.